Hey, hey. Oh, some people already on the chat. I'm sorry I didn't see anything before. Hey, Tuan. Thanks for being here. Hey, Omen. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit difficult. Probably warning in advance could also be a language. I'm gonna try not to be too juicy, but um, yeah. So what I'm gonna say to begin with, just to clarify a few things. I'm not a victim, I'm not a beggar, and I'm not doing this to attract any kind of attention, especially the unwanted kinds. Um, Main reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of people tend to talk a lot about their perfect lives and perfect fake social media as it is. So, you know, how many people talk about the real stuff? And at least to my level, how many people talk about the stuff that matters? Close to none. Um, my experience with Netherlands generally as a country and people, objectively looking, was good. Um, I don't have like bad things to say about people, and even if I did, I tend to avoid that because I just generally look at what's good and what's good inside of them and what's generally good about stuff. So, you know, it's a nice country, beautiful architecture, loads of fun stuff to do, nice places to go to, like the seaside, natural parks. I mean, there's loads of stuff I haven't even discovered. Then, I don't know, historical sites and stuff. Fact is, it's all flat. That's one part that gets really boring. Um, for the bicycling, I think I had most fun bicycling around the sand dunes on the coastline because the rest of it is just freaking straight, usually close to the streets and close to the roads and stuff, and it's just not that fun. I mean, yeah, you have to be able to find different ways for biking. I know there are many really nice routes, but you know, if you want to get somewhere fast from one place to another, you're gonna pick the shortest, of course. Having said that, um, when I moved here, the first thing that hit me, and that's 10 years ago, was the rents. And not so much the how high the rent was, but the fact that getting a flat, finding a flat, even when you have the money, phew, you have to freaking be lucky. And to begin with, I was lucky because I basically what I used was the connections with the colleagues in the company or friends and stuff, and I just turned out to be very lucky in terms of finding a flat within a few months or sometimes just like that. To be able to pay for the rent, standard practice here is like you have to have income that is 3 times the amount of rent for the people to even talk to you. And that means individuals or agencies, as simple as that. So that means if a rent is 1,500 per month, which is kind of, let's say, pretty much the medium range for a single bedroom or a studio flat, most of the cities around Netherlands, as far as I'm aware. At least that's the range now, but before it was maybe like 300 euros cheaper, so not much difference in 10 years, but that's it. Given the fact that most of these kind of ranges, they're not going to be really nice apartments. Let's say energy levels are going to be pretty low, so you're going to pay a lot more during the winter for the heating and stuff like that. So it's always going to have its pluses and huge minuses as well. Most of the apartments, by the standard practice around here, they don't just come unfurnished, but whenever you rent an apartment, you'll get no floor. So, like me, not being lazy, but being more pragmatic and practical, I don't want to freaking keep looking for furniture and stuff and waste a ton of my money every time I'm moving apartments. So I did try to look for flats that were furnished, which normally means either a much higher price, definitely higher deposits, like 2 to 3 months, and then on top of it, most of the time it's you would get places which have a short-term contract, like 6 months to a year, or maybe like really flexible in terms of like, hey, we're actually selling the flat, so whenever we actually manage to sell it, we're gonna give you a month to move out. Okay, cool. But then maybe the price gets a little bit lower then. But this is the general experience for my first 2 years of living here. That's what I had, that's what I got, and I considered myself self lucky because I was paying a decent price for quite spacious apartment. Then after that, in between me and my now ex, when she got pregnant, we decided, that we should settle somewhere where it's not so expensive. Because at the end of the day, life here in Netherlands, and particularly cities like Amsterdam and stuff, it's really expensive. Like, to be able to live comfortably, even back then, you had to make about 3,500 after tax. These days, I think like 5,000. That's it. If you don't make 5,000 euros per month living in Amsterdam, it's just a no fucking go area, and that's it. So then, even situations with like not just expats, but you have a lot of young students and a lot of young people coming here, internship, working as bartenders, all this kind of stuff. So basically trying to do their best to survive. These people probably, they're living in shared spaces with friends and stuff. They have to manage it differently. But I've never seen anyone saying to me that with what they can earn and what they get, unless they were really lucky with some kind of tips or stuff like that, or they got lucky later with better paid jobs, most of them spend, let's say, a year up to two maximum, and then they get through burnout and stuff like that. And they either go home or they have to find help and figure it out somehow. But that's pretty much the large majority. And people just, why you don't know it? Because, nobody talks about it. Everybody is sharing their perfect pictures, and then when things go wrong, they just go silent. Like, let's say you can see for a few months, they will just not post anything. That's how people are hiding what's happening to them. Simple as that. Yeah, I'm in my house. I'm in my boat. I'm not gonna show everything because it's pretty messy. Because I don't have the running water. All I've got is electricity, which costs me about 10 to 15 euros a day right now when it's really cold, because I have an electrical heater. The machine's not, the engine's not working and stuff. So this is really just like a freaking shelter. It works for me because I generally just really appreciate my privacy. Due to my complex trauma, childhood, all that crap, I honestly admit I do get triggered. Not so easily, but at the end of the day, when things get, I really don't like repeating myself to people, saying, pleading, and especially after what I've been through, like asking people, please, I need my peace, I need my break. Yeah, like, you gotta understand that, and if you don't, sorry, get the F out. That's it. And it's my place. I can own it. So this is the one thing I have the right to say to people: get off my property. Ciao. And if they don't, call the police. I mean, what can I say? And even calling the police still didn't really prevent from the worst that happened around here. Yeah. So yeah, that the engine doesn't work was quite unlucky. It was. When I bought this boat, it was on the video, it was working and everything. And the guy who had it said, look, I have a dead battery. I don't know, I'm going to go home and stuff. And it really an honest guy, one Romanian guy, not many of them, unfortunately, come like him. Really good guy. He sold me the boat with the way that I could pay him off in a few months. So, I mean, genuinely, he freaking saved my life, to be honest. So this boat is a gift. Even though it's leaky, it's rusty, it's not good. It's way too expensive to try and fix it now. So, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, it's just unfortunate because we tried to start up the engine. I brought a new battery here. It just didn't go. I've got a guy who is offering me to basically just take it out and restore it. But the engine itself, I'm gonna give it to him to restore it and sell it, because I mean, what can I do? That's the best I can do with it. The boat itself is just it's gone. Everything's broken. The toilet is not working. The V berth, which is the best place to sleep, the most spacious. There's a wooden hatch on top of it. It's a bit leaky. So what I have to cover it is a huge beanbag, which doesn't leak any water through, but then it also closes the ventilation, so it's not airy enough. And what happens is either the condensation itself, it makes it really humid. That's one. And the worst thing that's happened during this Kiaran storm, the whole pillow got blown away while I was asleep, and obviously it freaking poured. It poured water into the place where I had all of my clothes, all of the stuff. It's like on one side I had clothes to wash, on the other side I had my suitcase and backpacks and stuff and clothes that were clean. Just everything got soaked. So basically what I've got left is now enough of clothes that were in another backpack of mine here in the dry area with me, and that's all I've got. And a broken laptop and a new phone, which I had to buy after another one of mine fell into the water and died. So yeah, I'm freaking lucky, right? Wait, that's not it. I mean, fuck. Fuck. Uh, should I go from the end of the stuff, what I've been going through here, or from the beginning? I don't even know, man. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And I'm surprising myself how strong I turned out to be and all this stuff. And for the past 2 months, so happy, so peaceful, so stable. I was like, wow, is this even me? Like before in life, I have to admit, it was all going up and down. I mean, what? I had no proper parenting, no proper guidance, no friends, like my other parts of the family, like this stuff. The closest people I was to is the two cousins of mine from both sides of the family, because they would just never judge me. They just know who I am. They accept me for who I am, and it's really cool to know these people kind of give you the insight of what are the kind of best friends and people that you need, because they're gonna tell you the truth, but they're not gonna freaking belittle you and send you to places where you don't need to be. You know, like, but the rest of the family, like, I had to learn through years later that, you know, I really loved my grandma, but she's passed away. Like, I love my aunties, but they all have their own life. We all had a tough life, man. It's just difficult to keep connections. It's difficult to feel connected with people. It's like, I don't know. Probably gonna get fucking emotional talking about this. I've lost my best friends. One of them killed himself. He was diagnosed with ALS. Nobody knew. Nobody fucking knew. You know, those people I was able to talk to, never mind even the people I have that I could talk to, everyone's far away. It's like I was surrounded by hundreds of people and I felt lonely because I could never explain to people what I'm going through at home. I was just too ashamed. Felt guilty, ashamed and stuff of literally realizing only after freaking 9 years that I was abused by a narcissist. And God forgive her. I mean, I know she can't help herself and it's not her fault. Like, that's the freaking reality. And, you know, to begin with, you know, 2020, when the neighbors called the police in a house where I was paying 2,500 euros every fucking month for 2 years at least. I think it was more than 2 years already, a week in advance. And then 2019, I decided I have to quit these really difficult, stressful jobs, even though they're well paid. I've got already 2 kids. I didn't know COVID was going to hit back then. I mean, it was predictable, but I just wasn't paying any attention. So December 2019, I say I'm quitting. I was offered like to be paid 1,000 euros per day to go back and work for Liberty Global in another department. And I said, guys, only part-time because I want to focus on my family more. They said no. So yeah, and a few weeks later, bang, everything goes into lockdown. That's exactly when my grandma died also. Like, if I could have even remotely known what's going to follow, I would have sold my fucking soul for those 1,000 euros a day. Ridiculous. The moment I called the landlord, yeah, the lady, can I call her a lady? I don't think so, but I'm gonna be as nice as I can be. I said so. So I call her. I'm like, sorry, but it's gonna be difficult. Like I'm trying now. I'm gonna try to get back on my feet. Take any job that I can. It shouldn't be difficult. I was picking jobs, not picking jobs. I was saying no while I was already working. I was saying to headhunters, no, I just can't take your offer. I don't care that you want to double it, but I'm loyal. I don't do deals like that. You know, like I just got accepted and promoted in 6 months to a technical lead, and guys call me, we're gonna pay you double what they pay. I'm sorry, I'm not a fucking whore. You know, like, I don't know. Hard shit. So yeah, it wasn't that easy to get a job again, clearly. And then, of course, I also realized that for, like 20 years, I was too quiet about what's really going on around the world, to hear the truth, the reality, and that we're living in a goddamn matrix, and the media's lying, and the governments are lying, and everybody's just pulling your goddamn leg, trying to work for people who have nothing good for us in store. Like, no, I was quiet, afraid to speak because I was alone. If I spoke, I would be considered crazy and whatnot. It's hard to fucking see the future. And yeah, 2020 goes and my intuition kicks in again, and I'm literally freaking trying to sleep. No, I felt all those millions of people in Bergamo being choked on intubators. That's how it felt. Just like, I can't explain these things, because even I don't understand everything that happens to me and that goes on. Some of the stuff is so highly fucking spiritual that it's, wow. Only once you start to really wake up and stop resisting all of this shit, then it hits you even harder. It's just, awakening in itself is not a pleasant journey. Being awake is fuck all but pleasant with the modern society. It's suffering, it's painful as fuck. So yeah, 2020, I called them. Sorry, but let's try to cooperate, like whatever I can pay you later and owe you and whatnot, and I'll do my best. She goes, yeah, pay me half now and half at the end of the next month. I hope it helps. Honestly, my honest thought was like, yeah, fuck, it helps. You goddamn bitch, really. Now I see who you really are. All it takes is money. Really, all it takes to see the real face of people is a little bit of money. Sucks. And then, of course, the next month follows. I can't come up with that shit. 2,000 euros for the rent, of course. What can I do? Like, I'm trying to look for a new place already, of course. What else? Like, of course I'm not stupid. But in the meantime, yeah, you're kind of thinking, like, I'm in Netherlands. Like, I know that I should be protected. Human rights, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the country where people don't just get screwed over easily. So, yeah, I was counting on that. And COVID, of course. Kind of like, you should not be evicted during that time, right? With 2 kids and third one on the way. Well, yeah, here comes the joke. So when I said, now I really can't pay, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't respond. A week later, I have a big fat lawyer who parked a Mercedes in front on the sidewalk, knocking on the door, handing me over the papers and invitation to court. I'm like, okay, that's nice. So I called the Juridisch Loket, which is basically the free legal support. They assigned me a lawyer. I could name her right now for the sake of the fact that she didn't do her job, but she was such a good sweet talker. So yeah, we start this whole thing. And I also went to the municipality to tell them, look, guys, I need help. I don't know what to do. So they, of course, started to say, yeah, we're going to start you to apply for the jobs. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. So I'm like, okay, now I'm in the system. Now I've got to do exactly what they say. Think that's it. I did have like some money still left. And whatever I will do with that money, instead of paying off the debt, through my intuition was like, the market is in panic, everything is going down. What I should do right now is buy some Bitcoin or whatever it is, and just let it ride the wave, because I knew it was gonna freaking skyrocket as soon as things have a little bit of a better smell or whatever. And I was right, of course. I would be 50 times richer at that point if I did what I wanted to do. But I used that money to pay off what I could. That's what they told me to do. That's what my ex was also screaming at me to do. And then I started to see if they can actually offer me jobs that I'm not like extremely overqualified for after 25 years of working in IT and the broadcast engineering industry, proving to be one of the best in the market, although sometimes quite a bit of a dick, with the right reasons and for the right reasons. And yeah, I just had so many bad feelings about everything, and in the end, I was just ultimately right about it. So what happens? We go through this court procedure. I lost the 4,000 euros of deposit. I had to pay another like 7,500 euros, I think, to her. So basically, I lost more than I had. So I went back to the municipality and I said, look, now we're getting kicked out with kids on the streets and stuff, blah, 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 and we need money. We need help. So I knew that the government at that point is obliged to step in and go like, okay, we're going to manage your debts. We're going to do this for you. I don't know. I read the law. I read everything. I mean, most of the stuff is written in English. You don't have to speak fluent Dutch. And it's really easily written that you can understand what to do. And then all you have to do, one thing I didn't know, that every time you get in any sort of trouble, you have to have a lawyer for anything. But good one, a really good one, the one that has a heart, the one that is actually willing to fight with you, not just for their goddamn money. And I don't know whether that's possible or not, but it looks like these guys who take the public money, not really. At least so far, I haven't had a good experience. So the court procedure ends, I pay the money. It was literally the lawyer of the house owner that sent me a message a few days after the court saying, you should have never actually accepted this deal. But I guess your lawyer never told you. And I'm like, fuck me, man. So, yeah. Then, municipality, that was even better. The first thing they said, well, you can get evicted because there is no COVID, with a mask on their face and everything is in lockdown. Okay, it made no sense. And that was the time when they kind of decided to kind of reopen half of the stuff, but limited time, da-da-da-da. So it was a lockdown, but not a lockdown. So for them, technically, at that point, it wasn't... I don't know how they came up with it, but their answer literally was, I quote for quote, there is no COVID, now we can evict you. Like I said, even with the children, oh yes. But nothing made sense. So I kind of stepped on their toes and I said, you know what, I'm not going to leave this office and this place and this house until I get someone who can actually explain this to me better. And like, I want the social housing. Because, at the end of the day, I was in the highest paying tax bracket, 52%. Within 1 year alone, I think I paid over 130,000 euros in taxes. I deserve to be fucking respected and I deserve my human rights, man. It's not like I'm begging for anything here. So, yeah. They finally decided that they have to change around, and that they gave us this urgency declaration, but they decided they're gonna do it for 4 people, even though that that our 5th family member was just 4 to 6 weeks down the way, and 4 weeks later she was born. So they stuffed us into this shithole. Loud, I kid you not, airplanes are flying like maybe about 30, 40 meters above the head every 2 minutes, landing, just when they open their flaps. So it's the loudest moment. High throttle, open flaps, boom. Oh, I know something about flying, by the way. So yeah, it's a great place. Windy as hell. So even when there are no airplanes and it's windy, it's like being in the Gale 6 windy situation on a boat when everything's whistling around your ears. Because, of course, it's social housing. Is it good? Hell no. Does it still have asbestos in there? Of course it does, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, it's unbelievable, really. And then when I told them, like, even the funniest irony of that was as soon as I put my daughter, with my fourth child, so the third daughter with this woman was, the third child with this woman was born, I'm like, okay, let's just for a joke now put her in the Wohnungsnet. So now we're five and let's see what happens. Within 2 weeks, we would have a big house, only 50 euros more per month, a big house. We were the top number one on that, on the list for that house. It's just madness. What can you say? Madness. So the whole time I was trying to not really argue with these people, but just tell them, look, I know I'm right, but you need to kind of manage it timely and all this kind of stuff. No, no, everyone else is right but me. And, you know, most of the stuff they tell you, doe je normaal. And then, when are you going to start to learn, when are you going to start to speak Dutch? Ik spreek een beetje Nederlands met humanistische mensen. So really, fuck off, people. I like learning languages, I really like, but it comes with a two-way street. It comes with respect. So that's also something that Dutch don't necessarily really know what it means. And I don't mean to be bad, but it's like this. I'll take one lady two ladies for example. The first one was, this is my favorite one actually. The first week when I was here going to work, Monday morning, I'm going through the central station, through the underpassage, stopping at the kiosk to get my first coffee in the morning. And I'm a huge coffee junkie, by the way. I've drank coffee since I was 9. I need my coffee. So before I had my coffee in the morning, you'd better not talk to me at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. And I'm standing there in the queue I've always kept some personal space for people. So which means I'm like about 1 meter away from whoever is standing nearby me, because I like personal space and I give personal space. So, and at the time was like turned sideways with my head trying to read what, you know, the headlines say in the Dutch, and from my German and the English and the other languages, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I can understand a little bit reading the headlines. And I turn around and I see this lady, tall lady, standing in front of me. So she was roughly 45, 50 maybe. And, you know, just nonchalantly, her face really up in the air and doesn't say a thing, yeah? She knows she's cut in the line. And I'm like, excuse me, madam, but I think I was here before you. So this was my face, yeah? Nothing like bad, threatening, whatever. I'm just serious. That's it. I don't, even when I'm happy and joyful, I will probably look like this at best. And not because I'm like some freak or whatever, but, you know, like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. If I intimidate you, walk away. I don't want to do anything with you. I don't need to do anything with you. It's not my fucking problem, right? So this woman goes, maybe you should say this with a little bit more smile on your face. So that was the first time I started to learn what the Dutch culture looks like. And I'm like, excuse me, madam, I would. But not before I had my first fucking coffee on a Monday morning. Back in the line, please. The guy selling almost threw up laughing. So yeah, it's my favorite joke, how I deal with this nonsense. I mean, if you want to be direct with me and stuff, okay, fine, but I'm also going to be direct with you. No problem. I respect people just as much as they respect me, and that's it. That's why often people cannot really digest me, I admit. They can't. I go and talk at municipality and they go, listen, sir, let me explain this to you. This is how it works. And I'm like, look, you see, I read this here. It's in English and in Dutch, the same law. I don't want to argue with you. I respect you, but this is it. Respectfully, you are wrong. Blah, blah, blah. They threaten you with security and go out and stuff like that. This is really the reality here. I mean, I can't understand why. The only reason probably because just because I don't speak Dutch and I don't do it normal. Like there's so many unwritten rules here, you never go get by. That's another cultural thing. Like we're free. The weed is legal, but only to buy in coffee shops, not to grow. That's how it is. Madhouse. It makes stuff around here sometimes makes no sense. It's a nice place though. People are really nice. I must say, majority of people are nice. But it's the kind of nice that later on makes you realize, most of it is just shallow and it's a mask on their face. You never get to know them really. Fine, if you want to keep it that way, I respect it, but it's just not really. Don't don't be surprised that the rest of us, the expats and the people who come here and stay for a longer time, have a few things to say about it. Like we're trying to relate with you people and connect and all this stuff. Language or no language, it's not that freaking easy. My second favorite joke about living in Netherlands. Even the Dutch friends, and they admitted themselves, even the Dutch people have real issues making good Dutch friends. Why? Because honesty here is a complete non-subject. Being direct, yes. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's how it works here. And then when it comes to breaking the rules, the Dutch do tend to break all the freaking rules they tend to tell you about. Ah, man. It's a fucking love and hate relationship with this country, honestly, just like it was with my ex. So that's why she's thriving here and I'm not. Because if you're an empath, you don't survive in this kind of relationships, that's for sure. You know, I must say that those few people like Tuan here and few, like, I'm so grateful because it makes such a huge contrast to large majority here. It's kind of, when you need to get some faith back in the humanity, that's where you get it, literally. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to sound like a complete asshole, like everything's bad. No, it's not really, but I'm just pointing out the stuff that others don't want to talk about and don't want to be honest about it. It is how it is. I'm just saying it how it is, really. Not just for me. I've definitely been discussing this with a lot of other people, and they all said, you know what, man, you're right. I don't want to be right. I freaking hate it. I hate to be right because that just means that the good stuff I want to see in the people and about the society is just not there. And it scares me. It was the same with my ex. I was like, yeah, she's a freaking mess. She does stuff that drives you really nuts. And she's a dangerous person too. That was my perspective, at least. But I love her and I'm, gonna do whatever it takes to be there, like sometimes it hurts, but, people can heal as long as they can stop living in denial and all this shit. But no, here it's just like, okay, that's probably more like this modern shit fueled more with the social media and this stupid positive toxicity and perfectionism. Like if you really want to heal, you're gonna have to be able to step in your own shit as well. Otherwise, forget about it. Faking your happiness and joy means nothing really. So, what else about Netherlands? What can I say? Food is freaking good. I like food. It's healthy. It's often fresh. Oh, but it's freaking expensive. Again, it costs a lot. Like, even on a budget, right now, especially after all these prices have been hiked so much, I don't eat cheese and I don't eat that kind of stuff at all, basically. Because even when I eat cheese, then I immediately have problems with my sinuses. So I just tend to avoid all the dairy and milk and stuff like that. But yeah, the prices are insane. I think 500 grams of cheese is like almost 20 euros or so. It's like, what the? Never mind. Everything went up. Like, decent bread, the healthy one, that's like between 3 to 5 euros for a kilogram. It's like, okay, why don't we fund more wars wherever they are? It's definitely gonna work. Like, even though it's good food, there's lots of diversity. If you're a vegan, if you're whatever, you can eat whatever you want. It's okay. Like, and if you cook for yourself, even if you cook for yourself, it's still gonna cost quite a bit. So yeah, activities. Given the weather, you need quite a lot of money because most of the activities are going to be indoors. So again, everything you want to do around here will cost. That's why I know that now I understand why so many people have boats, even though they look like shit. But they have them because it's probably the cheapest way of having fun. But even if you have a good job, look, Oman, yeah, thanks for the comments and stuff, and sticking with me. Really appreciate it. I had a good job. Look, I was making, like, on average, like, for the past, so between 2017 and 2019, I was, so beginning of 2017 and then end of 2019, I was making like about 6.5, 7,000 euros a month after tax. So you know yourselves that nobody likes to talk how nobody here likes to talk about how much money they make, and it's not me bragging. I'm saying it's still like the only thing is, I admit I was a bit stupid. Like, okay, I made so much, I can reward myself a bit. Should have been investing. That would be the best reward. But yeah, still, it wasn't like I didn't feel like I'm rich. Like I knew I'm like freaking 1%er in the amount of money I make in Netherlands, but it didn't feel nowhere like, oh, I'm rich. Want to go to the bank and get a loan? No, nothing, because I'm a freelancer. Buy my own house, mortgage? Nope, I'm a freelancer. And I don't have that credit score that you guys have. I don't, because my life wasn't going that way from the beginning. So it's like, it was just some things are possible and some are not. And then what? I understood that the only way I'm ever going to own any kind of property of mine is literally walking to it with a suitcase of full of cash in my hands. Of course, legally earned cash, because if I ever try to do anything that's mildly out of the boarding the lines of the law, it's not the hands of the law that punish me. It's the freaking karma that strikes me down so hard you don't want to go there. Really, I kid you not. And I can explain exactly this last year of my life, which is in itself, I can write a book just about the last year. Fucking hell. Yeah, let's go into that. Yeah, so again, so 2020, the one thing was also, yeah, that's where I got involved with child protective services and the therapy, couples therapy, and social services. This is where the nightmare began. So the neighbors called the police because, of course, they heard the shouting and stuff, but the fact was there were a few plates and stuff, if I can remember correctly. When you're under abuse and stuff, it messes up with you and your memories as well. But, I have a good memory, so the things that I do remember are definitely facts. So some stuff was flying towards me and shit, and she banged the head against the frame of the door. I held her for her shoulders to, control the situation and push her away. So we both got scratches, and she had these typical female bruises. If you hold them here, they will be blue in a second. So, and the neighbors called the police, and I immediately told the cops, I did my best to just not harm anybody, blah, 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 but please, she's insane. If you got to take anyone away, take her. Nope. They took me away for 10 days. No judge, no court, no nothing. So then I was allowed to come back because there were no charges. Everything was dropped. And that's it. So I'm like, okay, cool. What now? Therapy, of course. We need it. No problem. My first ex was the person, when I said, dude, before we separate, we should go and take some therapy or something like that. She said, no. Everybody here in Slovenia knows you because you're so famous on TV and blah, blah, blah. So they will support you. I'm not going. Like this, whatever. Can you find a better excuse? I mean, and she was 4 years older than me and acting mature and bullshit. So, yeah, I had to just give in to that. That's when I left Slovenia and went to work abroad. And reasons why, because I wanted to be able to support my child one way or another in the future, at least if I cannot do it there. And yeah, the same story here. Just that this was much more brutal. So then this 1 year of therapy, it seemed like, hey, things might start to work out, like I'm finding ways to listen to myself better. I know my boundaries. Like if I feel upset or whatever, I know to get out of the house, just, go to the forest, stay calm, blah, blah, blah. And I followed everything strictly to the core. And yeah, I guess it was just good because she was pregnant again, and she kind of, every time when women get pregnant, their hormones change and they mellow down and they need you more. I don't know. It's just like that. I know that for a fact. It's like my mom was the same. The rest of the women I know when they got pregnant were, just generally, I don't know, nature turns them into, if they are beasts, then it turns them into gentle beasts at that point. So, yeah, that was kind of it. That's why that year was still calm and good. But yeah, pretty much after that, again, the old patterns started to reappear and follow and da da da. And yeah, everyone I was trying to talk to, the child protective services, the social services, the therapist, our therapist, just nobody really got it. Like, nobody could say to me, look, dude, looks like you are codependent, or whichever one of you is codependent, but this is the codependent relationship. It's very toxic, it's very dangerous. This is what you need to know about it, blah, 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 blah. And later, when you find that kind of stuff, you also start to realize, okay, codependency, it's either two codependent partners or one of them is the narcissist. Because nobody that has a healthy emotional relationships and stuff and doesn't really has either fixed that stuff or never had these issues to begin with. They see through us. They'll go like, oh, you're really needy or stuff, you've got issues, stop looking for validations, la 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 la, and they just walk away. I've had that, and I didn't understand it back then. Now I do. You need experience to gain clarity, so that was kind of it. So yeah, nobody basically told me, look, not to say that you're a victim, but you're a victim of narcissistic abuse, and this is what's going on. That's why you have the experts to freaking enlighten you when you can't do it yourself. Nope. It was even worse, basically. In this case, I was able, through WhatsApp chats during the 2020, so that means like talking to you, but just seeing your face, I can actually feel you so much that I actually felt one of her personal issues. And then one day I said, I think maybe you had this kind of experience and it can relate to my darling over here, so I can just let you two talk about it. And the woman shed a tear. So at that point, I should have just gone off. Freak. Again, I'm better than the therapist. Not first time in my life, not the last time. Time to call it off and change someone who is better quality and I can relate to. Because it's not going to work otherwise. It's like my intuition and everything was telling me that I'm getting manipulated. And I wasn't stupid, like I knew the whole time that whatever's going on is toxic, abusive, and the pattern is just like out of control and emotionally unstable person. And I knew at that point I cannot deal with this all on my own. I just knew. But when you have kids and you're loyal and you're like me, when you're extremely loyal, your own loyalty becomes your own poison, I felt like I cannot leave, I cannot go. Then, of course, when I was finally without income, phew, hell no, I'm leaving. Yeah. So, yeah, burnout, trauma, and more intensified abuse and more intensified situations. So, yeah, once things started to escalate again, it was too late. And then it was kind of like I left the home, yes. I knew I had to leave, one way or another, even if I'm sleeping under the bridges. The kids cannot keep seeing this. I can't keep living like this anymore. But I had nowhere to go. No idea what to do. And no money. But it was more like this, that after a couple of phone calls with, at that time, obviously we were arguing a lot through the phone, but she was threatening me with the police. Then I was talking to social workers and stuff, and everybody said, yeah, the kids need to go to school, so, and they need mama, and I'm like, but listen, guys, if I could trust this woman to be a mother, then I wouldn't be here talking to you and saying, no, this is not right, it's not fair. No, nobody listened, nobody cared. I couldn't articulate it as good as I can do now after, going through my own therapy sessions and stuff and reading a lot about it and learning so much. mainly about myself, of course, because at the end of the day, I was also convinced that I'm the narcissist, really. But and I'm kind of like, okay, fine. If I'm a narcissist, I'm gonna admit it. I'm gonna go and see if I can help myself and fix it. So, in the end, you understand that narcissists basically just don't do that stuff. So that confirms that I'm not. So I don't know. And since then, fuck. Um, like social workers were looking at me like a street dog, really snarky remarks and stuff like, you don't understand how domestic abuse affects the kids. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Um, do you know my background and what I used to do and stuff? That I'm one of the people who changed how Slovenia, whole country behaved about the children's rights and stuff and the homeless people. No, it never dawned onto them that it's actually them who are projecting and they have this Donning-Kruger effect issue going on. So yeah, and I thought, okay, maybe there's just a few people like that. Where's the better ones? Yeah, again, those better ones can't do anything because that other person might be their boss. Uh-oh. So, and they got easily offended. They easily took things personal. So at some point I was accused by the same people at Gemeente, even though we already had, like, I'm like, no, I try to stand up for myself respectfully, but I can be assertive sometimes if I have to be. So I sent them a complaint, and not with the intent to like destroy anyone's life, because clearly, if I wanted to go and sue them and stuff, I would sooner or later find some kind of a crazy lawyer that would go and sue the whole country with me. But it takes a lot of time, stress, and effort to do that. So, and I'm not like that. So I sent them a complaint so I could basically just go and finally talk to their bosses and everything. And the first time we had that, they were a bit more, defensive aggressive, in a sense of like passive aggressive and a bit defensive. Like, yeah, um, now we changed our ways. Now we always send two people to listen and stuff. So we understood and we learned from your case and we're learning. Yeah, so we hear you. So it's kind of like this cheesy talk. Now you're being heard. Okay, fine. Now I'm being heard. Given that you've admitted that you've made mistakes and stuff, can I now please get my social housing or something? And that was no. They would just straight up, no, we cannot do anything. Later on, when I started to read more about this, I understood that they were actually lying. They could do and they should do. But yeah, again, do you have a lawyer? Do you have money? No. Are you smart and you can tell them yourself that they're wrong? Yes, you can. And what happens after that? So yeah, never mind. I wasn't successful. First around few hostels, burnt all my money. I burned my friend's money that was lending me and supporting me on the way. I mean, it just went crazy. And then I finally find a flat. Some shit happens there with another chick that I just met there, and it was nothing romantic or whatever. It was just, I was literally hosting a friend of a friend. Turns out that was also just magically the same level of insanity as my own ex, and like, what the hell? And I had to call the cops to get rid of her, but that also meant that I'm gonna get kicked out of that flat, which I did, but not expressly, at least. Either way, I was so happy to settle in there after a month of craziness. Nope, not lucky enough. So then I was talking to my therapist, dudes, I'm desperate. I'm really like, it was just getting worse and worse. What do I do? Like, and then I realized 2012, I was in Namibia. It was the happiest place on earth for me. The best time of my life to that point. Skydiving, amazing place, amazing food, amazing people. The time just slows down there. I mean, that's freedom, really. And I was thinking, you know what, if I really want to heal, why not just go there for a couple of months, do some volunteering stuff. I had an e-bike, which I built myself, worth like 6,500, maybe 5.5 with some beggars. I could sell it and just go. So I started. Yeah, I already got an offer. Yeah, we're waiting for you. Just come, get your freaking papers sorted and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, hoo-hoo. I get invited to a place for like an event. Went there, really freaking cheerful and happy. At the end of the event in the morning, that bike of mine was gone, stolen, disappeared forever. Woohoo! And yeah, I must say that I even didn't feel so crushed. I was just like pissed off at myself, like for knowing, had a really kind of like that feeling, bad feeling about it. I was trying to find a better spot for it, but they said no, no, bikes have to be there. If I was more persistent, they later told me and showed them the bike that I had, they would have put it inside. Oh man. So yeah, my dreams to go to Africa and just find myself again were completely shattered. I spent a little bit, yeah, around a month in a camper van type of squat area. It was really cool. Loads of greenery, loads of quiet. I had some time to kind of start processing all the bad shit that was happening to me and why did I attract this kind of people, why all of that was happening. Like, I mean, it was just so much. And then that didn't even go to the depth of where do I have my own issues from the childhood. Like, some of the issues are related just to the painful birth, maybe. It took quite a huge amount of LSD to figure that out. It wasn't my therapist. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. Then I met this old hippie. I was with him in a flat. I paid him. I mean, I could barely manage, but I paid. Um, so yeah, and then I figured, you know what? I'm constantly burning money for the rent. I was talking to some bikers. I was talking to some other people who already had experience of sailing around and living on the boats. They told me a little bit. Some of them wanted to sell me their boats, but they were like, nope, sorry, it's a good boat, but I cannot put so much work into it and try to live on it at the same time. It doesn't work. So, yeah, went on to find like a small sailboat somewhere. It was Horn, so across this kind of big patch of sea here in Netherlands. I found a sailboat which looked good, smelled good, felt dry when I got there. It had a working two-stroke engine, all this kind of stuff. So everything I could quickly have a look at with my minimum amount of knowledge about the sailboats and the running rigging and all this kind of stuff, which now I know a lot. But um, it's kind of like, I'm laughing at myself. What kind of a rookie and an idiot I was, just going like, yeah, it's cheap. It's less than 1,000 euros. I've got the cash here. It's mine. Yeah, no, that was such a disaster. Because the boat was on the dry dock for a year, so it was in the hangar. So, and when they put it in the water, it was still a week of pure sunshine, which is really rare in Netherlands. Yeah, of course, when I got the boat, the next day the storms were already forecast. So yeah, I thought I was gonna have some fun with it. Nope, not fun. Leaking everywhere. It turned out it was just a pure fucking scam. So I was devastated. My heart was shattered, and I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do now? At that point, even some dude out of nowhere from South Africa who came here kind of working in IT, I think, and stuff. And he goes, yeah, man, I really like you. We really connected somehow, good stories and stuff. But when the time came, he said, well, I'm going to share my flat with you because I make enough of money and I don't care. And like, it sounded like God sent me finally a solution I was looking for. But yeah, when time came, he just freaking ghosted me, never appeared. So I'm like, yeah, all right. When things sound too good to be true, they always turn out to be, I guess. So I'm still learning. So I gave up on. That was the time when I started to give up on trusting people and asking. Like, literally, a bunch of other people forced me to make a GoFundMe and get enough cash for all the petrol and the stuff, and so I could actually buy that goddamn boat. So when I finally said, okay, I've got nothing else, I've got the tools, I've got the materials, I can do this, I've got enough of coffee and weed for working like an asshole for a week and try and fix whatever I can fix on this boat, and I'm gonna fix it. And that's when I suddenly bumped onto the post about this one. And I'm like, holy shit. And when I came here and I saw that how much bigger it is, and at the end of the day, as much as it's now a wreck, the furniture and everything, it's much so much better than the other one. So like I was smiling all the way, ear to ear. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm taking it. So yeah, it felt good. It still feels good though. It's not that bad of a boat if I could actually do anything with it. But yeah. Um, and then this is where the real shit was hitting the fan, and here we are. Yeah, end of August. I'm like clean. Just I was just finished actually cleaning around the boat and stuff, doing some stuff on the laptop. I think I was just preparing myself to watch something, and suddenly this body of human appears on the deck. Well, on the deck in front of the companionway, and goes, "Do you remember me?" And then I remembered, oh shit, that Romanian guy was telling me that they were attacked. Well, one of them. So there were two Romanians here in the boat before. So one of them got attacked and robbed by this crazy Polish guy. That's the story they told me. They couldn't give me any details about him, not how he looks, no nothing, 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 nothing. All they could say is like, that happened. We called the police, nobody got caught. Like, okay. So I had a wooden stick that about this fat, prepared for that. And I was kind of thinking to use an fire extinguisher, like the dust and shit, to in the face if it would. But you have to be fast. You have to react fast. So when the guy said, "Okay, I'm here. I have a video about just going about this, how it happened, more in detail." But yeah, before I could say anything or react properly, I got the first punch in the face, and then I grabbed him by the hand. I grabbed the stick. I started hitting him on the hand, so I could get out. So this is like here, he steps out. Yeah, the boat is not small, so I could get out. And I don't consider myself a professional fighter and stuff, but I was honestly surprised how quickly I got a hand on him, and I was overpowering that guy. And then I hit him on the neck with the stick. It broke. It freaking broke off his neck. With the fact that the small piece broke on his neck, and I was left with a much shorter part of it in my hand. And trying to put him down with submitting him, I tried to put him down on the floor to submit and tell him to, like, now you're done, we're calling the cops, whatever. He actually grabbed, so the same day I found this huge metallic piece of bottom part of old classic table, heavy metal piece, which I was like, yeah, I can restore this, I can repaint it and maybe sell it for a couple of 20 euros to some collectors or someone who wants it in the garden. So he grabbed that shit and missed me by very little. In the dark, it was very lucky I saw it and managed to avoid the death blow. And yeah, basically that was the point. When I started losing the fight, I panicked like shit. He punched me in the head over 30 times, choking me. I started screaming. He starts to run, but also says, "I'm gonna be back." I'm like, fuck me, man. So I cannot describe how it feels, but at that point I started to, like, the same night and the nights after, I really understood how must it feel to be a soldier on the battlefield and then come back, because you get rats walking here on top of the roof, and it's like a bit like this. Every little bit of noise, just waves touching the boat, everything woke me up. I just could not fall asleep. That was driving me nuts. Like, my therapist was scared for my life. I mean, shit was going nuts, crazy, man. And then, yeah, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I hear doom, bam, bang, and I'm like, I know it's him. I just knew it. I opened the hatch, and I see somebody running away on the bicycle, bam, white baseball cap, white jacket, that's it. Nothing more. And then, following that, 2 weeks later, in the middle of the bright day, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, knock, knock, and it's him and another woman with him. Like, she was ugly. And they're both like a bit edgy and stuff. Now we're here, what you gonna do? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got the phone, I've got the police on the phone, so please go ahead by all means, now do whatever you want. And they of course start backing off, and again, we're gonna be back. But at least this time I finally had a better look at his face, better look at their bikes, better look at them. I'm calling the police. They finally pick up, and I'm describing to them, look, stop asking me questions, just listen. Listen to the description, listen to where they go. I'm running after them as far as I can, but please send a unit, get them, because this is the guy that almost killed me. And no. They didn't even show up. I mean, never mind. So the next day, once I finally calmed down, I'm calling the police station and I'm like, I want to talk to the local community officer. I want you to put me on a high alert list. Here in Netherlands, when you feel unsafe, wherever you are, whether it's a homeless shelter, whether you're at your home or on your boat, wherever you are, if you feel unsafe, you call the police and you say and you tell them what's going on, and you ask them to put you on the high alert list, which means, and they cannot say no. This is what they have to do. Which means they basically just have your number as soon as you call 112. They don't ask questions who you are, where you are, because they know your location through your phone. Trust me, they do. They admit it. They always know it. But only if you don't move too fast around, because they know it through the cell towers. And I'm an expert in telecommunications, by the way. That's why I know this shit. So yeah, they won't find you. Just as soon as you call them, they will go there, and especially if you call them already before, you tell them where's your location, where you're gonna be. They have to have it in the note. Hey, okay, Tuan, see you. Thanks for watching, and thanks for everything. So yeah, basically, I missed a couple of their phone calls because I was in other appointments or therapy or something. They always called in an appropriate time from a no caller ID, so you cannot call them back, and then they just stop. So I said, screw this. Yeah? If I cannot really catch up with them, and this is going on, I had to go. In the meantime, I had to go to Slovenia to bury my auntie, and then come back. So I was obviously scared to leave my boat for 5 days unattended. I was scared like shit, because everything I have is on the boat. So yeah, I came finally back, and I'm thinking like, and I tried to call the police again, but then they just wouldn't respond back to me and call me back. So they basically probably thought that I'm just paranoid and crazy and whatnot. And they didn't call me back, so I went to an airsoft store, and I'm like, what can I buy? Spray? Doesn't really work because it's not a pepper spray, and it's not anything else is not legal. Then ciao ciao, and then I'm thinking like sticks and stuff. Of course, you have to really know how to fight. Nothing works. And like the only thing which I saw on their website was this pistol that loads 4 rubber bullets, not bullets, but balls, which are like maximum about 2 grams heavy. Really, I shot myself with it. Legs, back, clothes, no clothes. It just stings a little bit. Not even remotely as painful as the paintballs can be. And yeah, I had that kind of like, it makes a loud bang. So it gives you a really good element of surprise. It makes a bang. Looks like a gun. I know it's not okay, but, it's better than me getting killed and the other person maybe getting hurt. Because, if I do pack a punch, I'll pack a punch. It won't be nice. So yeah, not a good idea, because then after that, 22nd of November, some other dude jumps on the boat, jumps off the boat. I'm looking through the small window. I see him jump off, and I was calm. No panic, no nothing. I opened the hatch and I'm like, hey buddy, what's going on? I know you were on my boat. Can you please explain why? What are you doing here? Yeah. He's like, that's my business. What I do what I want. And I'm like, okay, but this is also my property. This is where I live. And I don't think you can just go onto someone's property and do what you want. And then, yeah, no, they don't have a heart. And look at this one now, yeah? So I'm like, look, buddy, I don't appreciate you doing what you do, and you're coming too close to me. I don't feel safe. I got attacked here before. I don't feel okay you doing this, yeah? This is literally what I said. And the guy goes, I can do whatever the fuck I want, yelling at me and stuff. And I'm like, come on, not again. Like, why? Just why? And I calmly said to him, look, buddy, like, you can do whatever you think you want, but I'm prepared to defend myself. I am armed for self-defense. I didn't say I have a gun. I said I'm armed for self-defense, and I'm warning you, it's better to just back off and go away. He starts to yell, I'm also armed. Runs over, few meters here, there's a bike rack, runs over to his bike, grabs a plastic bag and starts to pull something out. And I'm like, nah, shit, I'm not gonna wait again for something like this to happen. No fucking way. So I pull the gun, bang it, because you have to bang the trigger for the gas chamber. You have to bang it to trigger it, to basically really make it, to activate it. But I didn't point like this. Nope. Like off the hip. So this is the hatch. And I'm like off the hip like this, still hands off the trigger, so I'm just holding it like this. Like, look at this dude, get the fuck off. And he does back off. He starts to yell, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. Like he wants to grab attention from everyone, play the victim suddenly. And I'm like, yeah, look, I'm not going to shoot you. At best, this would probably hurt you a bit, but just go. Just get out, get lost. I shut the hatch, then I have a wooden stick, so I protected it from anyone being able to push it open. And I'm like, I saw him calling the phone, and I'm like, yeah, if you're gonna be calling the friends, now I have a dial 112 already prepared, and as soon as they would come back, I'm gonna call the cops. That was my intention. So I went back to actually working on what I promised to myself that day, that I'm gonna launch my website, because it was kind of like a very special day, 22/11/2022. You know, I like those numbers, so that's it. And yeah, that was my launch. 20 minutes later, not knocking, screaming outside. I look out the window, first here on the port side. I see cops across the canal, like loads of them. I'm like, uh-oh, this is bad. I hear the helicopter above my head, and I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? And then I look here on the other side. So that was the Dutch Special Forces, 4 of them, fully armed with guns, shields, helmets, masks, shouting, get out, hands up, nothing in your hands, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, God, I can't even record this right now, because if I do, they're going to shoot at me. Fuck. So I get out, hands up, with a smile on my face. Guys, sorry, this was really a huge misunderstanding. The gun is right there on the shelf. It's not a real one, I promise. It's not a real gun. Yeah, overkill is a thing, I agree. Because they could have, like, they had so many phone calls from me, man. They could have just sent a couple, like, something, like, and just go first. Just go and ask a question first, like, hey, sorry, but what happened? You know, we have to come and arrest you now because of what you did, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Like, SWAT team, helicopter, you know how much money that cost them? I'm sure they had something much fucking better to do than convincing really the whole neighborhood here that I'm the terrorist, because a couple of them actually said that to me. Like one of them, also not a very smart guy, he told another Spanish guy that they can just go and pick my stuff from the boat now that I'm gone. Genius. Almost happened actually. So yeah, I actually realized at that point that the best thing to do is like just let it all go. And I really started to enjoy my life after that, I must say. It kind of helped. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious how, you know, I can put on the title of my book, you know, I don't know how I would put it, but kind of something down the line. I was staring at the barrel of a live ammunition rifle, and it changed my life for the better. Well, up until this morning. So, obviously, what you do, you want to get a lawyer, right? And when you have no income, the government has to pay for the lawyer. Or so I thought. I mean, I know that they will still do it if I really go and put all the pressure and go through all the hoops and loops and whatnot right now. In terms of like, what can I do, yeah? And I did. So 2 days ago, I finally get the first defender that I got. I really had a bad feeling, and I said, no, I'm sorry, but like I respect your stuff and your duty, but I don't have a good impression about you. I don't have a good feeling. I'm going to get a new one. And I did that really politically correct. No, no, I mean, I started to get a new one and stuff, but this old one applied in a way that they looked into some really old financial situation and they said, no, you can pay for your own lawyer. So that's what I got 2 days ago, and I'm like, yeah, okay, screw this shit. I'm gonna fight back, of course. So I called, like, okay, who can I call? What can I do? Find that information. I started calling, and they tell me, okay, look, what you can do is contact your new lawyer, get the new application, and send us the papers for the last year, how much you earned. And I'm like, okay, done. Here's my papers. 5 minutes later, message to my lawyer. They asked me to tell you that you need to do this and this and this. I did my part. And then it's not even because of people that I woke up in a sense of like grumpy or maybe a different state of mind today. So when I went to sleep, it's really hard for me to fall really nicely asleep and stuff. I have to meditate. I have to really put a lot of effort into it. Because I don't want to drink beers and smoke joints every night for sure to fall asleep easily, and I don't do pills. I just don't, and I don't do drugs. So yeah, no, a lot of effort, and if I fall asleep before 1 o'clock at night, it's actually really good. If I fall asleep before midnight or before 11, it's great. It's freaking perfect. So yesterday I did fall asleep. I think around midnight-ish or so. And at night, I already heard the rats running kind of like on top of the boat, but I was also like, I think one of them's kind of inside because, it's freezing right now. They can't find food. And even though they left me quite alone, they were really nice to me for the past 3 months. Now they're desperate. They're starving. So even whatever little food I have, I'm trying to really put it in places and stuff where even if they get inside, they can't find it, they can't reach it so well. And these bastards, they chew through the goddamn rusty metal. They chew through everything within a night. They will chew through an inch of wood. So they'll get inside. And yeah, last night I heard one. Fine. Well, at 7 o'clock in the morning, it woke me up running all over my face, trying to get to the bread where I have. And I'm like, God. I mean, this is like something that's like, I like these animals and I love animals, but it's still a freaking wild rat. Thanks, Omen. Like, whatever I did in my life was only to experiment and see what it does to you. And like, if it's shit, it's shit. I don't do it. The only few good things are like mushrooms, weed, LSD, and MDMA. But I will say the mushrooms, LSD, and MDMA is like only for therapeutic purposes. Partying and stuff might not be that good of an idea if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you gotta be well informed, like do what you wanna do. I don't judge people for doing drugs either, like if you're careful and you do know what you're doing, you don't necessarily become an addict or a bad person. It doesn't make anyone bad. If you wanna have fun, have fun. I don't care. It's just like, don't use that as an excuse that like, oh, I did cocaine and it turns me into an asshole, or I drink alcohol and turns me. No. You just are an asshole, just a little bit more amplified, including myself. I'm not saying I'm always nice to people. I'm not. I'm honestly not. But I've been through a lot of stuff and just figured that I can't always explain myself to anyone, especially not the people who only understand cockiness and violence and ignorance. What can you say to them? Nothing that works. Really, nothing. I tried. Trust me. But yeah. So it's freaking difficult. So and then this morning I'm awakened by the rat, and literally this rat was huge. I mean, this is like a cat-sized motherfucker. And it started to fight me for my last 2 pieces of bread that I have. Literally a fight between me and a rat. And I'm like, come on. Something clicked. And it's not like I want to, let's say, I'm like, end of the road. I don't want to end my life. I'm not suicidal, but I'm just fed up of like exactly the discussion I had later today. When I had later in the afternoon today with this lawyer over emails, like they told me that you have to do these 2 things and then we can go ahead. You have my case, you have the money, and that's it. We can go ahead. I can chill and start digging what's the worst and what's the best I can look at. Because I'm I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm hyper vigilant, kind of hyperactive, highly intuitive and stuff. And I don't do patience too well. And even though I was really patiently dealing with all of the shit before right now, I don't like waiting. Like I've got, so the court date is on 22nd of February. That's exactly a month after my 42nd of birthday. Like I want to change my life around, but that's the one point I'm waiting for to understand how that's going to affect it. To do I go and work for community service? I'm looking for jobs right now, but knowing that somebody might not even take me, you know. Yeah, they are. The rats are crazy here, man. Sorry, I'm checking the comments as far as I can and trying to keep myself in the flow because it's already taking along this video, man. So, what? Yeah. Nah, I kind of lost myself anyway. Yeah, the rats are crazy. Oh man, this is like, and this is. I have a couple of trees and bushes here. There's like two families of really huge rats, and you know how rats are, yeah? They shag a lot and they multiply like, oh my god. I don't know what actually made them leave me totally alone because they were constantly invading the boat through everywhere they could, chewing through a lot of stuff to get to whatever food I had, anywhere I had. But suddenly they just gave up. So I don't know until yesterday, and this was like insane, like fighting with a rat, man. Like I literally punched it. I punched it to let my bread go. And then later I got pissed off and I threw one piece of bread outside in their bush so they also have something to eat. Like the same way somebody here here on my channel who says like in a really bad, like, you a bag man, like, you, yeah, a bag, so it means you're a beggar. I'm like, yeah, I bet my money without having any looks it's a projection. I go and have a look, and the guy is making some trap or rap songs, auto-tune mostly, of course. Shit. But still, okay, the lyrics and stuff is okay, so, but he needs to work on himself, and definitely, and his music. So I went there, checked his channel, and like, yeah, you dude, you were on the streets. You have one subscriber, no views, no likes, and you're calling me a beggar. That's ironic. It's fucking ironic. But I didn't go and offend him and insult him because honestly, I'm like, okay, what's the best thing I can do for a person like that? Is like, you know, I'll give you my like and my subscribe because clearly you need some of that love that you're so needy, and just learn to seek that attention in a different way because before you get completely broken in your life, there are still maybe some hopes for each and every one of us. That's pretty much. Oh, I feed animals here non-stop. There's one short where you can see me for the New Year's morning. I woke up a bit early. Is it New Year's or just the morning after? The morning after, I believe, because I was partying for the New Year's. I was invited to play as a DJ after 15 years, and it was great. I'm feeding here. There's these two really nice Canadian ducks. They just eat out of my hands, and it's so cute. It's sweet. I love it. In the summer, I would go and sit across the canal on the bench to wait for the Polish guy and trap him, right? Sitting, smoking there, and just kind of meditating at the same time. And the dogs would just, couple of dogs. There was this was one day actually. Huge dog runs over to me, and I kid you not, pops himself into my lap, like sits in my lap, just sits there. And I'm like, what the hell? That's so good. It was so funny. I loved it. Yeah. But that day was like, it just kept happening like that. It was amazing. So yeah, this is the good parts. One thing I did understand, that I was really not paying enough of attention around myself. Like, dude, Netherlands, in terms of like that the fact that you can buy a boat, and if you're a bit smart, you can actually live on a boat. It saves you a ton of bloody money with rent and everything, and it's also fun. You get fed up with something, you just change your backyard for a little bit. Different marina, maybe somewhere closer to the beach or whatever. I mean, it's really not that expensive. It just takes more work, I gotta clean it more often, you gotta maintain it and stuff, but stuff like that keeps you busy. This is actually the proper practical meditation when it takes you do something good, you do it for yourself, and at the same time it takes your mind away from building up and amplifying the problems that you have already. So yeah, if I knew that before, I would be rich for saving money and living much more modestly and fun than it was before. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not something that they just romantically fell in love with, like sailing and going around as a mid-age crisis of a divorced man who can't feed his own kids, right? No, it's skydiving changed me back in Africa. I realized that, it's kind of like when you do stuff that puts you out of your comfort zone, because I don't really like heights, I don't like extreme sports, and I definitely don't like taking huge risks such as you might die. Come on. But it's fun. It's freaking fun, really. It's practically, now that I know, sex doesn't reach that level of how good it is. This is better because you're doing it and you're doing something really good just for yourself. There's nothing wrong with self-love. Just as long as you find an equal partner to share that stuff, that's what it matters in the end. So yeah, freaking, I fell in love with skydiving first, but for skydiving you gotta make quite a decent amount of money for the licenses and the training, of course, and then your own parachute. And then every jump you would go, let's say wherever you are, every jump costs around 50. I think now the costs are around 50 to 70 euros to take you up. So that's just a normal jump. You have the license. Yeah. So then obviously what would be the best alternatives is like base jumping and wingsuit. But in order to get there, to be allowed to do that and not get heavy penalties and lose whatever license you already have, you must have like over 10,000 jumps to start base jumping. Like they're strict. And of course, they must be strict because, it's a deadly sport where statistically the least people die. Even though this proximity wingsuit flyers are adding to the numbers, but it's far less dangerous than playing golf. More people die playing golf when they get hit in the head with a golf ball. Really, that's a fact. It's just funny. So what happened basically? Why sailing? Why the boat? Okay, obviously the boat was a solution to my housing problem to begin with. And then kind of like river and lake, so the inland boating would be the first to gain some experience, just generally learn how to fix the problems, learn this kind of stuff, learn a little bit how folks operate with this, and operate how, just the culture and shit. Because it is different. When you're on the water, people are more friendly, they're more helpful. On the land, I guess we're just used to really being so wrapped into our own egocentric lives that we just don't care about anyone. But, on the water, everyone can sink. So we're kind of like, we're not on the same boat, but we're on the same water. I'm just surprised that people can't actually incorporate that into their daily lives as a whole, like the empathy and compassion and stuff like that. It's crazy. So yeah, that's why it's appealing, because I see that there's the people that generally just sail around the world. They are travelers. I'm a traveler. I got paid to travel. I was around the world and I was just amazed, like this is where the tourists go and that's where I went. And they went with once I made a mistake in Namibia traveling with an air-conditioned bus. 6 people on the bus, headphones, screens, 550 kilometers. I died. I really died from boredom. So whenever we stepped off the bus, which was only twice for about 45 minutes, I immediately went, and whoever I could communicate with, I would immediately go there and just talk to them. So, and people just loved me there. So everybody said, what are you doing on this shithole of a air-conditioned bus? Mini buses, local buses. It's like basically a van. 14 people are stuffed inside like this. Hot, no air conditioning. So much fun. Stories you share, the experience and stuff. My MacBook, that had no place with us. I had to put it in the backpack at the freaking, they had a trailer at the back. That's Namibia, that's Africa. If it goes, it goes. I'll get a new one. Oh man, so much fun. Yeah, we were driving there, and I'm telling this driver how Slovenians are. Yeah, my fellow Slovenians, the really weird kind of bunch of people. That's why I'm not there. Yeah, I would love to, but sometimes it's just even stranger than the stranger things. So in our country, we still have the people who can work for a national owned company, which means, there's always a budget, there's always the money, not get paid for over 6 months. And they will tell you, just be happy you have a job. Like, what? So when I was telling this to the driver, African in Namibia, earning, hey, welcome back, Tuan. When I was telling this story to the driver in Namibia, he's driving, looks at me like he almost careened off the road, choking and laughing at the same time. He looks at me, he says, "What? Brother, I thought we abolished slavery a long time ago." And I was laughing my ass off, like, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. So, shit. I laughed my ass off, and then we were talking and talking and stuff. And in the end, the guy says, "My brother, you're black." This was the best compliment I ever got in my life. But it was just hilarious, really hilarious stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I went way too far from Netherlands now, yeah. Now I'm in Namibia. Well, it's Afrikaans. They speak kind of baby Dutch. uh, so, yeah. Fuck. So what else? What else? Yeah, this legal shit. So now after 2 days, now I'm just surprised. Also, one cultural thing about it's not the Dutch. This is like pretty much all the people who move here. I don't know. It's some kind of electromagnetism that changes people or something, or is it the climate itself or whatever? But people tend to say like a lot of stuff how they're gonna do something, but then it just never gets done. Like promises that never get delivered. And I don't like expect everyone to really say everything to do everything that they say, but you know, I guess if it's your, like in the case of the police, for example, if it's their duty to put you on a high alert list and protect your safety as well as protect public peace and order, then do it. It's really takes only 5 minutes of work. So this is the kind of level. It's not even the incompetence so much that I see around here, but people just go like, yeah, it can't be done. They don't even look into it. They don't read. They don't check if they're right or wrong. Nothing like that. No, they just make up shit on the spot, and that's it. And it's their way or the highway. So it's really impossible to also stay quiet, peaceful, and communicate in a respectful way with people. I mean, not that I was swearing at anyone in their face, but I would often just like try not to give up. But yeah, after what I've seen today again, over and over and over again, people just looking for excuses how not to really proactively do their job and help when they really need to help people. That's it. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm just not gonna do anything anymore, I guess, with regards to begging them for scraps. I'm just not sure how the hell I can now face this goddamn court on my own, other than ask for a translator and beg for mercy from the judge itself. Luckily, it's just a district court or something like that. It's not really too bad, so I guess they'll tell me to go do community service or something, which is still, it's good, of course. I'd be happy with that, but the problem is that will take all my time that I actually need to spend trying to work and survive. While I've got roughly like with all the bills and shit, and that, so basically there's stuff they're sitting on me, so all I get out at the moment is roughly something more than 500 euros of welfare, and I have at least double the amount of costs and expenses when it comes to paying all the stuff that I could not keep up with, and I have friends to pay off and loads of stuff. So beautiful. In the summer, I almost had the job offer in my hands. So if people think that I'm just lazy and begging and crying here, and it was Liberty Global again, my sworn enemy now. Um, they, in the meantime, while I was waiting for the feedback, they just had a new deal with Infosys, which is a huge company from India. They do all the services and stuff. So they basically, these guys took all over the operations and everything, and I was supposed to be an operations support engineer, 4,000 euros a month after tax. That would really put me back in the spot. The guy, CEO, called me and he says, I'm so frustrated and I'm so sad. I cannot hire you because they changed the deal. So whatever people he could hire in the meantime, he could have kept, he could keep for the next year. That's after they will probably change his own contract again. Then some IT companies and stuff, we were like 4 stages of interviews and stuff, but then they decided after the 4th stage of interview, if anybody knows what that means that you're basically 1 foot already through the door. You're just waiting for them to tell you how much money they want to pay and when you start to work. And even with them saying like, oh yeah, this was a really great conversation, I can't wait to see you again. We all know what that means. And still after that, they decided they're going to still offer the job to a person who was still working with them. So, not sure how that happens, but fine. You want to treat people like a piece of shit and numbers means that I'm really not. So I'm not selling myself back to the technical and the broadcast and the media industry ever again. They don't deserve me, period. So I tried some other stuff. I went to work in some other business. I'm not going to name that, not even what kind of business, because it's only a few here in Amsterdam, and then it's too easy to identify which one of them, because I want him to continue to do well, but it was not so well paid, and I've had serious health and concerns issues with regards to you can injure yourself carrying stuff on the stairs and stuff. And then also my back is not doing that well because of previous injuries. So I asked him after 3 days of really hard work and my back was really in pain. I'm like, can I now just sit down and do the electronics and soldering for a couple of days so I can rest? He goes, yeah. Next day I come, 2 random people sitting there doing the electronics, and he tells me to start carrying the boxes up and down. And I'm like, okay. I took care of those boxes. So the whole day job, I did it within 2 hours. And then he left somewhere, and the same, like 15 minutes after that, I also left and sent him the resignation notice effective immediately on email. And since then, I think I sent like 500 applications, and then finally I got a couple of responses that were kind of honest enough. One of them saying, you're just way overqualified for what we need. And that doesn't mean I can't do your job, man, or I don't want to just accept a little bit lower ranks at the moment. People are still so outdated, so old school. When I was like here already, 2015, 2016, I was working from home, being able to remotely connect to 6, 7 different countries and solve problems like this. I come work for a big conglomerate where actually our type of work was constantly being remotely connected to all of the infrastructure in the business. And like, we could work this from home. Why are we here like 3 guys at the same table? It was like a sweatshop. Those 500 euros a day I earned was in the end not really worth it. It was disgusting to work that way for more than 6 months. And they said no. 2020 hits, guess what? Everyone was suddenly working from home and they just get it done the same. At least the ones that can stay disciplined. So come on. It's difficult to live ahead of time, that's for sure. And it's difficult to see things the way you see them, like being honest about it and being vocal about it. You get screwed. But is it worth it? Yeah. That's why I'm doing this here too. So, screw this. Screw them. Like in a nice way. I was never up for riots and stuff, and as much as I could be an anarchist, but I don't act that way. I don't hurt people because I'm hurt. I don't hate people because they're haters. I'm just like, leave me alone. It's all gonna be good. But don't try to disturb my peace. That's also a very golden rule. Thanks God my face doesn't look as nice, they say. Like, as in, I don't look approachable, they told me. Fine. Then don't approach me if you're that scared of a face. So yeah, Netherlands, Netherlands. It would be so much nicer if it was just really, if it was just what it says on the paper that it is. It would have been so much nicer, really. But it's just not. And for some reason, here is a lot different. Like compared to living in UK for 4 years, if you go to sit in a pub, all alone. Yeah. That's really. I agree with you, Omen. You do your thing and others do their thing. This is really nice. Like nobody, like you can literally leave your windows widely open and nobody gives a shit whether you're jerking off inside there or whatever you do. It's your stuff. You know. But it would be nice to keep it more private, but if you like it that way, fine. I kind of like, I'm finding that quite funny because, like, in terms of also just discussing the sexual stuff, everyone's really open about this here, but don't talk about the money. That's I'll get offended. Okay, fine, I won't talk about your money or mine. So like, it's kind of funny, yeah, but it's free. It is free. It's like more. Of course, it's great because, like, unlike Slovenia, where it's like a small village, everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows what you ate for breakfast. Like they know more about you than you know about yourself. It's almost like the CIA and the stuff, and it does come from a little bit of that socialist mentality when they still had to when they used to spy on each other. But the motherfuckers just love it, so they enjoy it. It's a national sport. Envy and knowing what your neighbor has, and hopefully you want to get a better car than they do. That's where I come from. It's just why I don't never 29 years living in there, and I just couldn't fit. I couldn't fit. But it's funny, when people tell me here also, but you have to fit in there. Like, first of all, I wasn't really born to keep pleasing everyone, and trying to please people just made me toxic in the end. And then second, nobody on this planet is born to do whatever the fuck you want, or whatever the fuck I want. You do you, I'll do me. Exactly. Like, have that freedom. And then, like you say, it's people do, you do your thing and stuff. So, but, honestly, it's not also very true, like I have to tell you, Oman, because when I was really battered at home, like, I mean, not physically, but, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, or physical, it all hurts exactly the same. It doesn't matter. And it leaves the scars invisible. So if I was walking around like this and, like, fuck, pain. What people would often tell me, especially, I mean, this is really not just the Dutch, but people come here because they like this positivity, right? But it's not positive to go to someone like that and go, you know what, dude, you just have to smile a bit more. You just have to do this. You just have to do normal. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Stop giving advice to people that you don't understand what you're going through. It's much better when you just go like, hey, why are you like that? Can you please explain? Let's go have a drink and talk about it. Believe me, it will change things. Because everybody was kind of pointing at me that I'm isolating myself from them. But I honestly just, like, what? Whenever I try to say something, they'll go, yeah, but you're too angry, but you're too this, but you're... Always a judgment. Everybody else is right, but... And literally, just cut you off. They don't listen, they don't want to... And then it's your fault because you react like, hey, dude, can you just really... It's going to take a long time. It's a complicated story. Nope. Yeah, I get it, like I'm here now, what, 98 minutes explaining all this shit. I know it's a lot. I bet my money that, I mean, I'm admiring for the first time I've got two people that are here, not just showing invisibly, but I'm actually talking to you guys, and it's really different. It's one of my worst days in the beginning of this year, and one of my worst days in the past 12 months, but it's one of the most fun live streams I had so far. So yeah, it's a lot. like I said, just 1 year of stuff that was going on here. It's a lot, because you know I don't know why, but people just I get it. Like I also had my problems. Everyone has got their weight and their responsibility, and I definitely wouldn't want to put all of my weight and my shit on everyone. But if it takes only very little compassion and kindness for us to give on a daily basis to just one person, and it can ultimately change their life, really, so much. And we can change so much, like just doing stuff together as a team and just understanding that, like, dude, you know no one is really bad because they want to be bad. Just a lot of people got so hurt that they need help in changing that shit around. Well, thanks, Oman. Prejudice. Yeah, there is a lot of prejudice, but I think we all do. We're all, in a sense, prejudiced quite a bit. I mean, I myself would be probably sound arrogant that I'm a lot different, but I am, because when we had the Yugoslavian war going on, I was in Slovenia. We had loads of people coming over, like Bosnians, Croatians, and stuff. And it was already mixed anyway, because that's what Tito was doing. He was just mixing people everywhere, all over Yugoslavia. So before the war, we didn't really sense any kind of serious issues with nationalities. And then later, it just kind of over the night, it all blew into this aggression and hate and stuff. And you go like, why does it even matter which nationality are you and what language you speak and what do you believe and which religion? It's all that nonsense, really. It made no sense to me. I still ended up being the most bullied kid in the whole school of like 1,000 students anyway. So they were fighting each other, but when they were done with that, they picked on me together. So yeah, it's great to have a guy like me around. So then they can finally stick together, I suppose. So yeah, it was very, very intense and traumatic. Not just on my personal level, but it was the whole situation was very traumatic for all the people. So I kind of learned to drop all this prejudice, and I mean, I was forced to learn, I guess, to stop judging people. Judging, I never judged. I was about 8 years old. You wouldn't see African Americans, even, especially in a lowrider car. You would never see those around Slovenia and in my neighborhood, which was a freaking ghetto at that time. So yeah, there was this lowrider, really cool American car. My eyes were like this big. I was 8 years old. And there were these rappers, like they freaking loved me so much. We were kind of trying to talk. I think I knew like 3 words English, like what's my name and how old I am, because my cousin was teaching me already. And they really loved me for some reason, so they took loads of pictures with me and stuff. And yeah, I would never think like, oh, they're black, they're this, they're that, they're that. No, just, you're a human being, man. Just the race, religion, language, culture barriers, all of that stuff. No freaking way. The more people I could learn about them, and the more people I can meet and hear their stories and see what their pain is actually, it's just kind of life gets so much richer with all of that stuff. And it's not like something I'm talking out of books and cliche quotes. This is really just my lifestyle. That's how I was. Living in a squat, meeting loads of people from all over the world, even when I went nowhere. The world traveled to me, and then I traveled to the world. It was kind of like that was one cool relationship I have with the planet Earth in itself as a whole. But yeah, there's always prejudice, there's always bad apples everywhere and stuff. But there's certain things like this silent, hidden slang type of racism around here, or this kind of stuff, when then people are really also sometimes almost afraid to talk about it, but when they see that they are safe to talk about it, like the people will say, oh yeah, you know what, we really have problems with Moroccans here. I'm like, yeah, I can agree. But just because they say that, you're a Moroccan, you come to me, even if you did something bad in the past, I give no shit. I'm looking at you as the person who you are right now. And I'm going to give you one opportunity, maybe two, and that's it. That's how I treat everyone. Well, that's how I treat everyone now. Before, you could be quite an asshole and walk all over me if I cared about you for some reason and keep walking. But I had to change that. I really had to change that shit. Thanks God, I'm able to. So yeah, um, I don't know. It's like it's not the people that are bad, really. That like as in like oh the Dutch are bad and Dutch culture. No, because it's like all different nationalities and mixes that do kind of the similar stuff, which is predominantly cultural for this place. Like being that egocentric, just a bit shallow on from the surface at least, and just no fucks given about others. It's very American like, and it's gone worse. 10 years ago, it was still more like if you fall on the bicycle, people will just jump over and help you. Now, nobody looks at you, they just keep passing by. Yeah, people can luckily change like I did, but you know, the way the Netherlands changed in this respect, like it was, yeah, when I was already homeless last year, I saw this dude stuck in the wheelchair on the middle of the very narrow bicycling lane. I know the place, I know everything there. Normally, that would have never happened. People would immediately go and help. So I ran to him. What's up? Why are you not moving? Electrical wheelchair. He's like, yeah, something with the cable, blah, blah, blah. If you look down, and he can't move, can't point anywhere. So I know my stuff. I'm an electrical engineer and la, la, la. Yeah, I can look into it. So I did. I saw one part of the cable, I couldn't see the other one, so I figured I just have to literally lay with my body all across the bicycling lane. I checked around, nobody's coming, I looked down, okay, I see it, I plugged it back, and the thing works. I kid you not, the guy starts crying, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Why are you crying? We solved the problem, everything's good. He goes, I was standing here trying to get help for over 20 minutes. That broke my heart. That broke my goddamn heart, because I know that when I moved here, just generally the impression of people being a lot more helpful with each other and a lot more attentive was definitely there. And I spoke to my therapist about this situation and others and stuff, and I'm like, do you know what, dude? During 2020, things changed. People just generally either changed, not for so good, including myself at that point. It was very intense. But, you know, I never went into arguments. I'm like, just bleh, shut the fuck up. You don't know the facts. Shut up. Yeah? So I was not polite. But let's not mention the other side, right? Yeah? And I'm not picking sides. I'm not against any side. Do what you want. But just stay respectful. Let's have a dialogue, not hate. And if it didn't work, get the fuck out. I block you. So that's it. But yeah, it got different, and my therapist agreed. People are way more intense, way more aggressive. Things changed, and it's like this, you know. Very, very, very narrow field of view, and emotionally really just blocked, and it's changed a lot. And it's like, I genuinely, I'm not judging. I just want to be able to help everyone, but you can't, you know. You can't help everyone, especially when nobody wants to help you either. So I can't even help myself anymore. It's totally out of control, everything. There's part of it what I think I could honestly do, you know, with regards to this court and stuff, but I can't talk about it because I want to keep my freedom. That's what I can say. I deserve to be free, and I deserve even better than that. But if I can't get more than this, at least I deserve to be fucking free. You know, all I did was chose the wrong kind of tool and a toy to preserve peace and make sure no one gets hurt, and that's just not right. So even public or community service, right? Community service. It's not fair. Just leave me alone. That's it. I won't do it again. I told them to keep that goddamn gun and just leave me alone. That's all. As long as nobody jumps on my boat, and even now I know I've got ways to lock myself in and protect myself without anyone getting hurt, long enough so they can get over here and snatch them, or you know, the people realize they're being stupid and they run. So. Yeah, you always find gold in the dirt. Yeah, you do. It's just like in UK when I was there for 4 years, like you could actually much easier talk to people that you even disagree with. For example, like conservatives, nationalists, and stuff. Go in the pub, sit down, and you will still talk to them, whether they know you or not. You will strike a conversation. They're way more like they're not so direct and definitely not honest. Like British are different. They don't say exactly what they think, but it's just generally having a lot easier to have a conversation with them about the things that you don't agree about. Like, okay, I don't agree with you on this, blah 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 blah, and they go, okay, I don't agree with you, blah blah blah. You have a good conversation often, often. Here, you say something to someone, if it's not at work where people have to act professional and they consider that you're contributing, which I like about the Dutch culture. At work, it's much more relaxed than on the actual street life. That's funny because it's like, okay. And that's also weird. Like, Dutch people have strictly separated. Work is work, friends are friends, and that's it. It doesn't mix together at all. And they have friends from the childhood and really tight knit small groups, yeah? And that's kind of like, okay, fine. So expats only get to mostly hang out with expats, of course. We're trying, but it's difficult. It's not that easy as it seems. And it's not just like, oh, just speak Dutch. Yeah, yes and no. Many people tend to switch to English anyway, just because you're a foreigner. So, I don't know. It's, yeah, there is gold around here, of course. I mean, I was often surprised when I least expected. Like, let's say in this neighborhood here, it's quite a wealthy kind of neighborhood. So I wouldn't surprise people to like pass by and ask me how I'm doing. And, if you want a coffee or some fresh water, just ring a bell. I'm not doing it because, I still don't want to disturb their private lives like that. It would be nice if anybody offered me a shower every now and then, but, joke. Like, they're nice. And I was surprised because I didn't expect that. So, and they don't, there are other neighborhoods around Amsterdam. If I lived on the boat, they would come probably at least 10 times already with the baseball bats to chase me away. Here, they just leave me alone, and the cops and everything. So, I'm lucky when it comes to this spot where I am because I also have access to this e-boat charging super expensive electricity, which I can barely keep up with. But yeah, it's not all that bad, really. Not. It's just I wish people were more proactive in making things that need to be made better, better. That would be freaking nice. That everyone takes that level of self accountability and says, system sucks, system is broken. Well, you're a part of the system. So if you can find anything that you think or believe that you can do about it, then go and get it done. It's really that simple, man. I mean, it does take risks and effort and stuff, but if we're always going to be selling ourselves away for like, oh yeah, but I've got a job and stuff, you're not going to keep that security forever. I can guarantee you that, because the stuff that's still coming in the next 5 years is going to rattle up and shake up so many things. And it's either a financial crisis or AI, whatever it is. It's like people will have to adapt or they're going to be in trouble. That's for sure. And not just because I'm saying that as a well-informed person, but I can see a lot of, let's say, causes and effects, and then sometimes you go like, holy shit, that's how the future might like. And so far I've been quite correct on those terms. It's not like when the clock can be twice correct. Yeah, the dead clock can be also correct twice in the day. Not that kind of stuff, because I do my research also, and it's, nah. If things were gonna get any better, they would have gone any better already. But the system is designed to serve only one type of people, and I don't need to explain that it's not us. So yeah, but there is a way out, even out of this and out of that. Yeah, like same for Slovenia. Beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful nature. Just apathy. People just constantly giving up on themselves. Like I'm only giving up on trying to be able to solve this huge issue that I have because of some very toxic, aggressive, and lying people that I've been faced with. Not sure if I can do anything about it, and then I can only pray to God that, I don't know, the judge is watching this video and saying, okay, fine, I'll have some mercy on this guy. uh, yeah, there's always a way out. We all have a choice. We all have a choice to, there's three types of people: people who make something happen, people who watch it happen, and then people who say what happened. Yeah, you know, we need to stop competing and collaborating with each other a bit more, talking more openly, especially when it comes to like, look, I do things that are also shit sometimes. I don't know why I'm doing them. Maybe sometimes can help me explain. And that's actually going to help you solve those problems. I guarantee you, because that's how it worked. Not just for me, but anyone. Yeah. Surprised, man, that, I don't know, Omen, whoever you are, have we met in person or not? But we probably have to, because you're super patient listening to all my bullshit for so long. And thanks. Really, one of the, I don't know, I thought I was gonna be feeling like rubbish after this live stream, but I feel actually better. And it is to, based because of the fact that you guys are here. And no, thank you, really, thank you so much. I'm probably gonna wake up a little bit more cheered tomorrow, but still equally hopeless. Really, I really don't know what the fuck am I going to do. And yeah, like when I was in detention and the cop was saying, yeah, you're gonna get 4 to 5 years in jail, and I'm like, holy shit, man, what? I cried like a fucking baby, but then I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna pull myself together. I'm not gonna let them see that shit and think I'm a pussy. So I did. I had panic attacks one after another, but I learned how to manage a panic attack. It's fucking nuts. Well, then, yeah. Tuan, are you still here? Not sure. Make sure you that you give her, I guess, if I'm correct, a big hug for me. Yeah, there's also one really cool dude I met recently. That was kind of crazy. Some things changed me in a very spiritual way. Like, but I've always been like that. I see how everything is connected. I really understand better now than ever before. So one day I was here sitting in the boat meditating, feeling, doing this gratefulness and stuff. And then I said, I'd really like a good old shower, a couple of warm meals and stuff. And I kid you not, the next day I go to the Albert Heijn store in the corner, buying some stuff, obviously minding my business. And as smelly as I am, I want to keep as far away as I can from people to not bother them with my stinkiness. So I'm like finishing paying, and this woman is looking at me, and she says, "I am that I am, la la la," and I start laughing, and I say back like, "Sure, but I'm still searching for that one, or maybe I am. I don't know." And she looks back at me while I'm already walking out. She looks back at me and starts yelling, "You've definitely found that one, I can guarantee you." And I'm like laughing my ass off, blah blah blah. And then two guys were doing the charity work in front of the shop, so I stopped and had a chat with them. They helped the homeless people. Hey, Tuan, thanks. Well, welcome back. Thanks for being back again. And since you came back, I don't know what to say. Really huge thanks for being here as much as you can be, and thanks for bringing Omen. I don't know who guys you are personally, I think, yet, but I want to know because you're both really amazing. And I want to put the names to the faces and all that stuff, because this is the way I feel because of you two being here on this live stream is just genuinely the best I've ever had anything to do with social media online like this. So, thanks. It didn't give me any more hope, but I just feel better. Less lonely. Two boys from Leiden. How old are you guys? I have a friend in Leiden, but he's always so fucking busy. A Croatian guy. I love him. He's my brother. Leiden is nice. It's a nice place. I mean, nice. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's kind of nice. Whatever I could see from it. 15. Oh Jesus, kids. My son is 15. He's gonna be 16 in April. Cool. So yeah, okay, we can't go out and drink together, and I need to be careful that your parents are not aware what you're watching, or I hope they're fine with all that, you know. Like when it comes to drugs, kids, yeah, generally don't do drugs. Stay really disciplined. Believe in yourself. If you see, when it comes to whoever you're gonna have a relationship with, whether that's a man or a woman, whatever, yeah. But let's say from my perspective, if I knew what I know now when I was 16 or 20, yeah, it could feel great, you know, to be in love and all that stuff. But as soon as you see that your boundaries are crossed, excuse me, madam, no dick. Or if it's the other way around, you know. But really, keep your boundaries straight. People shouldn't belittle you and insult you and stuff, thinking it's right because, you know, you're close. No, that's exactly when it's wrong. But give them an option to freaking address those issues with help, yours or somebody else's. And then if they don't do it, then it's time to leave or let them leave. Working on your discipline. Well, it's, you know, it takes only little by little. It's not don't expect yourself to climb a mountain when you haven't really made even the first steps, yeah? So everything in life goes step by step. It's a journey. Enjoy the journey and enjoy everything you're gonna learn along. I wish I wish really someone was telling me all that stuff when I was 16, man. Well, cheers to you. Cheers to you guys for listening to all this, really. Hats off. I mean, it's complex stuff, complex issues, and if you're interested in listening about this, you're gonna be able to do a lot of great stuff for yourselves and help a lot of other people. Because at the end of the day, that's all what life is all about. If you really want to feel happy, do what you love, do what you're good at, and that it serves others. Get those three together. It's gonna feel like you're permanently on holidays. Have you ever done drugs? Yes, I have. I mean, to be very honest, I smoke weed on a regular basis because it's the best painkiller for me. Chronic pain, injuries, sports injuries. Some of them were back from the skinheads almost killing me. I took LSD a few times this year, well, last year, but not for fun. Far from it. It was actually purely therapeutic stuff, so I could get a lot better insight into all of my unfiltered, suppressed, very old, crappy emotions and stuff. So it was every time not every time, but most of the times I did that. It always takes me a huge amount compared to anyone average. For me to trip balls, it takes me like 3 to 4 times more. And I can still stay totally under control. I'm fully aware of what's going on. But it was a hell of a journey to see what other issues that even therapists don't really realize that you might have. Like, you know, that you might have a traumatic consequences from a very different kind of birth. When I was born, they would do things differently. They don't put the child on mama's chest, and they just they took us away, started washing us, so you get cold, you get ripped away from your mom, you get vaccinated immediately and stuff. So you're basically just shoved around like an animal. So that really causes a lot of issues on a subconscious level. I smoke weed. I have tried vaping. Generally vaporizers, I don't know why, but they make me cough a lot more. So yeah, cigarettes, I did smoke a lot of tobacco, but now I actually don't smoke. When it comes to tobacco, I don't smoke anymore. I will light up maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes a week. Well, preferably cigarillos. So cigars or something like that. It's just so much better. And yeah, like I said, joints, because I don't get stoned, I don't get high. It doesn't change the way I behave. It just makes me feel a lot less back pain and shit like that. And generally, I can cope with my post-traumatic stress syndrome a lot easier. That's for sure. Then yeah, what did I try? I tried once. I smoked heroin because I wanted to see what the junkies are actually feeling when they do that stuff, and I fucking hated it. It was just terrible. 8 hours of like feeling really, and then I puked for another 2 hours. So not good, and definitely don't do any of that stuff. Number one drug I would never recommend to anyone to try, and it's purely because it changes your brain immediately when you try it. It permanently changes your neuroscientific parts of the brain. So don't do it, and that's cocaine. Don't ever do it. It's bullshit. It only gives you that high once in your life, and that's it. It's never the same. Never mind what you do, how good it is. You're chasing that high, and it never happens again. That's how it changes you. It's not bad. It's not as addictive as people say, crack and stuff. No, it's, the addiction is actually your mindset, the addiction you develop yourself. That's a different, we can go into that. But it's the shittiest, most expensive drug that only finances very, very, very bad people on this planet, which are like human traffickers, super bad stuff. So never do coke. Even if you ever want to smoke something like weed or try it and stuff, please be sure that it's like as natural as possible, and from a source that is positive, that feels good to you, that is nice, because it's really important to have these energies also. It's like if I would take LSD from a dead dope dealer, it would guaranteed give me a hell of a bad trip, even if I knew what I'm doing and I know how to do a bad or a positive trip on demand. But I got one from a guy who basically wants to help and heal people because it's a medicine, and it just effectively works completely different. So yeah, no, I don't stream every evening. I stream kind of like, I think now it's been like once a week. I tried to put things a lot more regular, but it's difficult. You can't always predict things. You can't always do them as you want. So I'm just doing as I go. Like, I'm a lot more spontaneous. I never even expected to have like thousands of views on shorts. That just blew my mind. It's like the way YouTube turned out for me now in the past 60 days or so. It just, in my terms, it's not, I mean, in my terms, it's exploding, because I never expected to have like more than 3 people watching all of my videos. What else? It's exploding so hard. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And it's not because of the attention. It's just because people actually, I think they really resonate with some of the stuff. But honestly, most of the stuff is just like 50% people just skip. They don't watch till the end, not even the shorts. It's really a short attention span issue and stuff. So no, I'm just doing what I can. Trying to follow some of your comments back up, sorry. Knowing what you know now and understanding your situation, what do you think can change your circumstance? Honestly, what would be, because as much as I'm a very workaholic and hard-working person, I've got like almost 30 years of working years behind me. Very good rest, paid vacation would be the first, because my body is just dropping dead. I'm barely coping with it, really. Burnout and all this stress and stuff, I'm dying inside out. That's literally how I can describe it. And I don't want to go to a doctor and go and check what else is going wrong. I can see what I can see, I feel what I feel. I know that it's critical for me to change my life around, beginning with getting some good wellness and rest, and then, more exercise. I eat quite healthy. I'm not a junk food eater. I don't like sugar and stuff. I mean, I like sweets, but I keep myself down. So, generally I'm doing what I can with the zero budget. So clearly, I need a miracle, to be honest with you. And thanks for the comments. Thanks for also being here, Resurgence. Let me see, anything else? Yeah, like drugs, like, it's nothing like bad if you want to try something and see how your body and your mind reacts to it. Let's say when I first tried ecstasy in my life, I started to understand I can feel more empathetic to a lot more people and actually feel them feel nicer. So it was like, oh, okay, I'm not exactly a sociopath or a psychopath, because if you keep convincing yourself into something, like when I was younger, I really hated the injustice so much that it's you sneaked away from your family. Like, I hope it's just all right. All right, yeah. I get it. I mean, I'm sorry that I have to be just honest who I am, and pardon for my language and stuff. And I hope it's not putting anyone in a bad spot, but it is what it is. If your parents want to meet me and talk to me, I'm more than happy, because it's like I've helped a couple of families to communicate better with their kids and teenagers. Bye bye, Tuan. But yeah, some of like it's even proven in science, right? In scientific research right now, that MDMA and psychedelics are really great for therapy. So I think there's no taboo team, and there shouldn't be no need to keep them illegal and such oppressed subject, because it helps. Like, from my own, I was afraid to take LSD, but it freaking helps. Yeah, later, Tuan. Bye bye, and thanks again. So yeah, I think weed actually has way more problems lately, because it's just way too strong, and it needs a good balance between CBD and THC together if you want to like vape it or smoke it, because it doesn't act so psychotic. So people actually get psychologically much easier addicted to this weed nowadays than the weed we had back in my when I was a teenager. So yeah, that's also something to note, that things that seem harmless are not necessarily harmless. And smoking in itself is clearly very difficult and toxic. So what can freaking help me out? I don't know. You know what's funny? The district attorney in the detention center was actually a guy who almost started to cry hearing my story, and he was way more compassionate, trying to do whatever he could to help. But the public prosecutor still decided to just go ahead and hard. So the district attorney was more compassionate than the defender that was assigned to me. And then what I'm finding right now, maybe even the second lawyer. She sounded nice, but she's like, if you want me to do something, you have to be a team player and come to my office. I'm like, dude, I'm dragging my feet on the floor. Can you just leave me alone already? If you don't want to do anything, then stop talking shit to me, please. So, what kind of job do I do? Hey, Floris. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the question. I was working in IT and the broadcast industry for over 25 years, but being so principled, I just don't want to work for the media again, because they're not being humanist enough to my own standards and values. I also did some sales and marketing, so I've got like a really rich level of experience on a very high level. So it comes down to the point that I'm generally way overqualified for a lot of jobs, so they don't want to take me. And then there's also the age factor. I know that myself, because I actually had to hire a lot of people. So it's the age factor. They look at it and they go like, oh, this guy's 40, he swapped a lot of jobs, he hasn't worked for the past 2 years, so like I'm dead in the water. This is the worst kind of situation you want to be, even as a highly skilled professional and successful individual. The worst timing, the worst year, and I was freelancing for most of the part, so it gives people the wrong impressions. So a couple of CEOs were very honest with me, and they said, you should do consulting. So, but I don't have the budget. I can't market myself. I can't have my own company while I'm having welfare. I cannot do my own business. I'm not allowed to. The only way I could survive and go to therapies and do what the fuck government wanted me to do and be a good boy, fit in and do normal, is to take welfare to begin with, to have at least certain level of security. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, I know a lot of stuff. I'm very handy. I literally know how to build my own house. Even though I'm not an architect, I'm probably the first one would be very Dutch, not straight at all, but nice for sure. So I did some work on the boats already, and I'm extremely fast learner. So whatever I put my hands on, I'm gonna learn like this. So yeah. What is the welfare? My own is 825 euros, but a good part of it right now they're just taking without asking a question to pay off my healthcare and the money I owe for the healthcare. So the healthcare you have to pay a base 140 euros per month, and then if you don't have the income, the government sends you 100 euros. So you kind of have to manage your own cash. So like, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna eat something for those 100 euros when I don't have the money. So obviously I couldn't pay all my bills on time. So yeah, now I get like 500 euros or something. So I'm not sure where you're from, Resurgence, USA or somewhere. It's very low because let's say generally the very minimum, well, yeah, the guaranteed minimum wage, I think it's around like 2,400 euros at the moment. And it's not enough, not even for one person, because when you pay the rent and the bills and stuff, that's half the money gone, and the other half is not enough for everything. You gotta really know how to manage. Ireland, yeah, Ireland is not doing much better than the rest of the Europe. Ireland is much like Slovenia, had a great potential back in the early and mid 90s, but then as soon as we took Euro and joined the European Union as a full-blown member, rubbish. Am I right? I mean, I know I'm right. Yeah. So it's kind of the same. It's not just Netherlands. Oh, immigrant. Yeah. Now I'm an immigrant. I'm a workless, unprofitable immigrant living on a boat. Now I'm not an expat anymore. Oh yeah. Jesus Christ, really. I mean, the funny part is I'm not homeless for the first time. Yeah. So when I was 13, my family got evicted. Both of my parents were at the lowest on the job skills and shit. And Slovenia, when it got separated from Yugoslavia, half of that industry just got sold and knocked off the market overnight. And people lost a lot of jobs and stuff. And these two were among them. And they were not very smart. So, yeah, things went wrong. And when I was 13, we were moved to a safe house, me, my mom, and two sisters. And then when I was 17, I had a choice, either go through a nervous breakdown at home or go live in a squat. So I made a better choice, lived in a squat, and then finished go back to high school, which was also very difficult because they had a lot of prejudices. So I had to do like a dropout year in between. Then back to high school. It was very political, so I had to swap high schools in between, sign up to an afternoon program, and go to work. So I was like doing basically kind of like 2 jobs in a high school at the same time when I was 17 and stuff. Well, I'm not entirely homeless right now, but it's not exactly considered a home because you need to have running water, you need to have some in order to keep what? Let me have a look. Right now it's about, at least the temperature meter shows 14 degrees room temperature, with paying a huge amount of electricity for this shit on my boat right now. It's not isolated, it's not handling the winter really well. I'm actually in my sleeping bag, 3 layers of fucking clothes to feel warm. Really? We worked together? Shit. Well, don't tell me your name. So there we go. If nobody, whoever was watching, didn't believe that I was a hard-working guy and I did good at Liberty Global. Oh no, we worked together at LT. Okay, now I know the name, yes. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh, that was also funny, yeah, Lithuania. That was funny. I go work for a startup and I tell the guy I'm expecting a baby. make sure that if you run out of money, you don't run out of money for me. Yeah, he did for 2 months. And then tells me to fuck off when I told him I'm gonna keep your laptop and stuff until you pay me the cash. He goes fuck off and puts his lawyer in his CC. I invited his lawyer for a lunch. Guess who got the money? Yeah, I wish I could actually have that same level of influence and power here with people here in Netherlands. You know what the best that they did? These social services and stuff, when I had to battle with them and couple of complaints, and they finally learned that they had ways to do it better. They had ways to do better things and help me more, but I just simply, lost themselves. And now it's really too late. Now on the paper, if they tried, they're not allowed to do it anymore. So it's like oxymoron stuff. So in the end, we had the second meeting, and they said, finally, like, yeah, you're right, because they were trying to accuse me of aggressive and threatening behavior towards their stuff, and that's quite serious accusations. So I'm like, no, man, we're gonna find evidence of that, and you show it to my face, and if you can prove that I was aggressive and threatening anyone, then I'll be happy to, I don't know, take full responsibility for that. And of course, they couldn't show anything, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny, so what are we gonna do now? And then later they said, oh, we want to help. But then that help was just like, yeah, what? Again, years and years and years of more meetings, more time spent, less freedom for me to actually put my life together, but nothing is looking for my housing, nothing helps with my situation at all. Yeah, I don't agree with that plan. Goodbye. So that's what I had to do. But we were hugging and crying in the end, how much they regret not listening to me before. So I do have some influence, but as it goes in my story in life, it's like this. I change things around, I leave a good mark behind me, but only paying a huge price for it myself. It was the same back in Slovenia. I had enough of this like bullshit behavior when a boss thinks he just owns you. And I'm like, dude, it's not your way or the highway. So I'm basically gonna get a double offer soon. Whether I don't have it on the table now or not, I'm gonna get a double offer. And when I do, I'm gonna come up with a resignation notice. You're not gonna give me your commands this way, because I get the job done, and I'm one of the best in these companies at what I do. Admittedly, by the engineers, by the IT department, by two of my bosses before, we're not gonna have this shit. In Slovenia, it's kind of common to say those things, but it should be common everywhere, if you ask me. Standing up for yourself and for your rights. And I was asking that guy only for 200 euros gross, so before tax, of a raise, so I could pay all my bills, with my first son being born. And the guy was being an asshole. He said they don't have the budget at the time when the company was making 9 million euros of pure profit. Not revenue, but pure profit. So I'm like, fuck you. And 3 weeks later, I actually got the offer. So it was double the money. I came back with a resignation notice, and he's like, who gave you that job? Like, I'm not going to tell you, because you're going to find out really soon, and it's going to really shame you badly. So thanks for everything. I want my paid vacation, and goodbye. The colleagues in my team were so pissed off that a week later they came to him and they said, double our money or we're going with him, because they knew I have 5 openings in the job where I went. So he had to double their money. Instead of doubling just my wages, he had to double 5 times those wages and suck up his little lollipop. So yeah, that's how I actually changed the world, by completely giving my life away so others can have it better. That's the same reason why I'm doing this YouTube channel and videos and shit. It's only some people are gonna watch it and they're gonna go, oh, you said this, you said that, now we're gonna press more charges or sue you or whatever. Like, I'm risking a hell of a lot speaking about all this. Yeah, Lithuania has changed, I know, man. I know. I keep in touch with you and other people from there. They tell me a lot. But it's the same everywhere. Europe, everywhere. Prices have gone up. Wages go nowhere. For the main part, they actually go down, but in a very subtle way. You know, people just get paid less. I'm an engineer in the broadcast industry for over 20 years. If I started to work 20 years, I would be making 3 times as much money as I can make today for the same job. In numbers. Not because of the inflation, but literally they were easily offering like anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 euros a day 20 years ago. That was a ton of money back then. So it's like compared to making, I don't know, 7,000 euros per day these days. So the only people that I'm aware of, like the top of the cream of the data analytics and AI engineers and software developers that make that kind of money these days, working a 9 to 5 job, which is not 9 to 5. Trust me, guys. It always ends up overtime. Your phone ringing in the crazy hours at night, and you're always putting someone else's shit out of the critical situation. When you're the top level expert and you're really good at stuff that you do, you you hardly really get promoted. If you do get promoted, you have a huge level of responsibility, just adds a lot more challenge and a lot more stress. But for the most part, you're just really choked with stuff that people do wrong, and you're the one that fixes everything. So it's really just no fun. No fun being a professional. Family of 4, estimated monthly costs. Yeah, in Lithuania. That's insane. So it's kind of almost the same. Well, this is what I was also comparing someday. The cost of living when I moved to UK, it was crazy. So the cost of living in Slovenia back then, that's 2011, I was paying about 700 euros for the rent. So that was 700 euros was the rent for a flat I was sharing with another guy. So we were sharing that. That was 350 for the rent. But the wages were like 900 euros after tax. So wages, so rent, 350, electricity, internet, all this basic stuff, another 350 euros, that was 700 euros. So you were left with 200 euros to survive for another 30 days in Slovenia with a child. And then I moved to UK. I was paying roughly £900 for rent, bills, and the food for the whole month in a house, not a flat, a house. My own room, big house, very cozy, in some nice British village. So that was 900 euros, shared house with only one person. So 2 people had a house for themselves. She was driving us to work because she also worked there, so I was only sharing petrol with her. But in the end, it was so freaking cheap. And then I made £3,500 after tax. I was like, holy damn, dude, I'm rich. You know, like, yeah, Lithuania is crazy. Like, surviving, you know, this is a really good joke I like. The German and a Slovenian meet, and they're talking about the money, yeah? And Slovenian's asking the German, dude, so that will be the same for you, buddy, from Lithuania, yeah? So we're asking the Germans, like, dude, so what's the cost of living in Germany? And they'll go, yeah, about 1,500 per month. Okay, and what do you earn? And they'll go like, yeah, we earn about 3,000 per month. I'm like, oh, that's good. So what do you do with the money that's left? And the Germans go, yeah, you know, we don't really talk about it. So then the Germans go and ask, so yeah, you're a Slovenian, how much money? Or you're a Lithuanian, how much money do you make? And you go, I make, let's see, the average Lithuanian, 924 euros per month. Okay, that's kind of sucks, right? And how much is the cost of living? And let's see, for a single person, yes, exactly, 1,784 euros per month. So typical, as for Slovenia, it's double the money that you actually make, yeah? And the German goes, so wait, how do you get that extra money? Yeah, you see, my friend, this is what we don't talk about. You can't, because, you know, clearly you have to fucking figure it out. And it's often doing, you know, black market stuff, selling, reselling. It doesn't have to be illegal, but people just do whatever they can to pay the bills, to survive. I'm not sure if Omen is still here. I don't think so, because on the mobile phone I cannot check who is still here and who is not. So it's a bit limited interface. And I think he would have said if he was. But yeah. You're still here. Okay. Tuan is looking for you. Yeah, I'm better off on the boat than for flat, that's for sure. Even if it's not working and even if it's costing me a lot to keep it warm-ish. Yeah. Long term, even when making money and being at work and stuff, I'm definitely gonna continue to live on a boat because it's gonna save me a hell of a lot of money and I'm gonna be able to do more with it and eventually help more people with that because that's what I want. That's my dream. My dream is to help people, not give them fish, but teach them how to fish. That's actually what I have on my website, which I was gonna launch on the 22nd of November, but things got a little bit delayed, and I don't want to reveal like completely what it's all about, but I've actually explained enough. And it's meant to build a network of professionals and people who need help and people who want to help and just, kind of stick together as a family and do stuff together. If you have a dream and you want to learn some stuff, I can teach you how to build websites, I can teach you how to set up servers, I can teach you Linux, I can teach you so many things. But clearly, as much as I want to do everything for free, I mean, somehow I've got to start making a living, so I don't know. If you have like 100 friends like you guys are and want to learn something and then everybody pays €5, then I can start making a living. I don't know. I'm building something that doesn't cost a lot of money for people to actually be able to help each other. And the point is not for me to make the money, but the point is that together as a network, we are able to build our own dreams and then also help other people who can't help themselves, right? So, yeah, only this year, Lithuania and expenses. It's the same everywhere. It's been like this, when I was 16 in most of the places, and it's still the same. It's just the numbers are bigger. There's more zeros being added to them. But it's just people are settling for way too little because they don't understand. For example, in the media, business, telecommunications, IT and technology, they waste, not invest. I'm talking about wasting billions of dollars a year for middle managers and project managers who don't even know what the hell they're actually doing in that industry, just to scratch their balls half of their time because we do the hard work. We do it for them, experts and engineers. But those guys cost 3 times our money to talk shit and do nothing, shove a little bit of papers around. Thanks God AI is coming because these assholes are the first ones to get replaced by the AI. So this is the problem. People complain about, we're getting paid too little, the system sucks, everything's broken, God is punishing me. Nah, man. Same as I let my relationship to become abusive and make me feel worthless, helpless, and hopeless, the same shit we are allowing to the whole system to do to ourselves. I just became so tired, so exhausted that I just can't keep fighting even for myself. What else the rest of the world like I used to? I just can't. It's kind of time for people to wake up themselves and do something about it. I'm going to sleep. I need rest. And if I go to sleep for a good time, I go to sleep for a good time. I'm honestly kind of tempted to just switch off the heater and let the cold take over, to be honest. But again, I'm courageous, but I'm not that brave and stupid to end my own life, that's for sure. I always have something in me that never gives up. Even when I lose all hope, I don't know how to give up. Sometimes I wish I could. No, I can't upgrade the boat. Too much cost. I could actually, for the amount of money and the time I would have to spend to fix and upgrade this boat, well, not upgrade into something fancy, don't get me wrong, but just something that is acceptable for all time in the year and works, It would cost me so much money that I can actually buy a few lucky chances, and I know that for sure. I've been following, researching almost every day, looking at the markets. I could probably buy myself a boat that's got already all of that done, probably very little to no work to have done, and it would cost me the same, if not less. So no, this I can actually get probably some money selling this for scrap metal, but it's a really logistic question. I mean, I cannot call anyone to go and drag the boat out and then pay me. Those people always charge. And there are companies that would tear it apart themselves, so like separate all the materials and take it to recycling and then still pay me probably up to €1,000. But I have to take it there. I cannot. Tutorials for what? It's I could monetize anything right now what I'm saying, like I could monetize, but the point is you need money to make money. The e-commerce and online stuff, people have such a short attention span. They just don't care. If you don't have something that they really need, and for the most part they don't know what they need until it hits them really hard, without marketing, without doing really the business level stuff, you're not gonna get attention. You're not gonna grab anyone's attention. People don't give a fuck anymore. Trust me, I've been studying all this stuff so long and so hard. Not just studying, doing it. Doing it. Teaching other people how to make money online. They thought it's easy. No, it's not. It's hard work. You have to really, really work even harder than in a 9 to 5 job. But the point is, when you work hard for like consistently for 2 to 3 years, that's when large majority of the income should become passive, yes. But it's work. And you have to keep investing the money. It's not passive, it's like semi-passive. You gotta keep doing it, making it better, developing it, always upgrading the stuff and always keeping it safe, secure. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's being on your own and trying to compete with people who have the money and the team to work with them online is just what? And there is not a niche that somebody else doesn't have the money to fuck you up. Yeah, I am doing that. So there's like I started doing one little course. There's a chapter one in terms of how to build your own website and going just like no bullshit, really practical approach. But it's a totally for free course because obviously if you want to get something, you gotta give something. We all know that. Like everyone doing business online is not gonna reinvent the wheel, expecting that some people who don't even know me, they don't know my credibility and my value, are just gonna go and buy a course from me. First, they gotta see that there is something I can give them valuable. So that's what I'm doing right now. Slowly, step by step, building that course and stuff because I'm not using chat gpt, I'm not automating shit because everyone's doing that right now, and then they all look the same, they all feel the same. There is good value in all that, but there is no real value in that. No personal, no story behind it. Like if you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, if you go and listen to some really great wealthy people, not these people who are saying like, oh, I bought my Lambo after 3 months of working, now I make 10K per week. Yeah, the reality is really hard, guys. This is not what it is. And I've done that, I've seen that. I mean, I know a lot of these people myself. They work hard and they don't make that kind of money. When they do make it, they make it on behalf of everyone who goes and actually buys into their own courses. Like that stuff you pay 500, 1,000, maybe just €100. If they're charging €100 for a course, they're selling it to 100,000 people. If they're charging 10,000 euros, well, if they're charging €1,000 or 10,000 euros for a course, they're obviously just hoping there's enough of people really buying their sales pitch. But when you look at this, like Instagram theme pages, YouTube automation, any this kind of stuff, yeah, it is working. I'm not saying it's not. I know a lot of that stuff. I'm doing a lot of research and analysis and also seeing what could work for me and what couldn't. Maybe if I could have some faceless video channels and stuff. But again, You cannot do it all on your own, even with the AI tools. It's gonna be rubbish. It's gonna be obvious, and just not bringing that value. It's really it's very good to focus on the quality of what you're going to deliver to people, and then also focus on the fact that people, like you're saying, I'm building a community, I'm building relationship here with people I don't even know personally yet. Yes, it's true, and that's how it starts. This is literally how all of these things start. It's just hard. I have very little energy to keep going. Like, if in order to have energy, you need to eat good food regularly, do regular stuff. None of that is working for me because I don't have the resources I need to do it. But yeah, I bought 3 new domains for my sailing around the world stuff, and trying to work with people on the boats, making old boats into something modern. So if somebody has an old boat and they want to make it modern, and they have the budget to spend on it, and they want to pay me something to do, I can like probably do 70% of that work myself. So there is a lot of things I can do and want to do, definitely, like especially this with boats and go around the world. This is my next goal. So in the description of this video, yes, I am a sneaky bastard, but it's not like because I want it. I put it in the description. You can read it yourself. There is a link to my GoFundMe page, and I'm not crying on my GoFundMe page. I left my past and my history behind, and I'm actually talking about what I want to do, what I would like to do, and the fact that I cannot do it on my own. So if there are people who, I don't know, either one who is rich enough and wants to help me invest and become a partner, that's it. If there's more people, this is why I'm actually working on this Gaia family website, because it's not about me expecting to get like any handouts, to get any gifts and stuff, but I want to actually, I cannot do it alone. I hope and I wish and I pray to God even to get support, to get some help, because at the end of the day, I want to build these two things. One is my life, the other one is the Gaia family webpage, because I want to do this for a lot more people. Like, just share the knowledge, give them what they need, teach them how to go, teach them how to be free. It's really, it takes a lot of courage. It's hard, but as soon as you don't feel totally alone and lost, and believe me, a lot of people do, because you're like, I guess even you guys, Oman and Tuan, you're, generally for me, and it doesn't mean derogatory, I don't mean to offend you, but you're kids, like, I literally, I'm old enough, I have a kid your age, yeah? So, and I know it's up to the age of 30, I was still a child, and you will learn that yourselves later on anyway. It's like, a lot of kids, even in good families where it's all good and stable, I know you guys just don't feel heard, you don't feel understood. There's a generational gap. Like, people don't really like care about the same stuff that you care about, and you have to understand that them better than they can understand you, to be honest with you, because you're going to spend the rest of your life living with yourself, and if you're going to be resentful for other people just being badly informed, ill-informed and uneducated and too wrapped up in their own little worlds, that they don't give a shit about your own feelings at 16 when they become very important to you. It's natural to feel that way. It's natural to feel upset. But yeah, I get you guys. That's why Gaia family is there. If you feel like, fuck this shit, I'm so lost, I really don't know where to go, but I need help, and I need someone to teach me how to do stuff or show me the way, and then I'll walk my way. This is the Gaia family about, because nobody is going to be able to just join because they have the money. I want them to be vetted and committed to their own transformation and their goals. And for the first 6 months, they're going to be paying a higher price to be a member, because they're going to have to achieve something in those 6 months that they set for themselves. They have to. And only when they achieve that, the price gets lower, or they get maximum another 3 months trial period. And if that doesn't work, sorry, but you're going to have to find yourself another way to get your life together, because, not everything is for everyone. Not every therapist can fix all of your problems, and not every therapist is good enough to fix your problems. So it's, not, our feet don't fit into everyone's shoes. You can try, you can see if it fits, you can see how it feels walking in somebody else's shoes, comfortable or not. But if you really cannot fit in there, don't keep pushing, you know. If you're a goldfish, don't try to climb the fucking tree. Nobody told you to. You know, and if you heard anyone telling you, oh, you're stupid because you're a fish and you can't climb a tree, you just have to understand it's them who have a problem. Don't deal with it. Don't engage. Walk away. Your life will be so much better and happier if you stop trying to make people understand you. It won't happen. I've spent fucking 42 years trying to figure that out. Finally did, and then realized it's the past is still chasing me behind, you know, these difficult things that we attract. We all attract that stuff. Whether it's just a random guy jumping on the boat or not, it happens, you know, exactly that moment when I felt at most like driven to do something new, to launch my new website, to do good stuff. We attract that shit. Everything. Toxic wives. Yeah, why? Because I needed something, but I didn't make a really good and clear picture what I want. That was a hard lesson. Maybe sometimes you just have to try and figure out what you don't want, and then because of that you will figure out what you want. Better than just settling for whatever comes at you and thinking it's good for you. Because if you feel that it's not good for you and you know it's not good for you, that's the truth. Your heart and your intuition know everything. You don't have to learn books for that shit. So, yeah. I have like a couple of other videos for you, a bit younger generations, you know, the stuff I wish I had learned when I was 42 and stuff, before I was 42. So I tried to that one was a little bit more constructive and pointed out to a few biggest lessons in life I've had that would help from 16 and onwards. So that's why I'm doing all this, because yeah, I have this genuine passion to listen to people and see what can they do to figure out how powerful they are, how much they can heal themselves, how everything is really within you, what you need, what you want to achieve. But you gotta stop listening to all the noise around you. You gotta kind of forget what you've learned, unlearn the stuff. Because if you wanna really find out who you are and what really ticks your bone, you're not gonna be able to find that out by reading shit online and just talking to people. You need to spend some time alone and in silence and paying attention to your breath, to your heartbeat, to your emotional reactions, to whatever thoughts are randomly popping up when you're meditating and all that kind of shit. It's like that's the discipline and dedication it takes. Doing it as often as you can, as good as you can, and getting, you know, not being a perfectionist, just doing better every day, a little bit better and a little bit better in every way. We are the creators of our destinies. I created my biggest dreams before I came here, and I've also ruined my life, more or less on my own. The rest were just the consequences I managed to generate around myself, one way or another, on a cosmic or macrocosmic level. You gotta own that shit. You gotta take responsibility. Yeah? That's a fact. And the more responsibility you take for yourself, the more you forgive, and the more you move on, the better it is. The more free you become. Even today, as much as I feel totally powerless and hopeless again, and it's terrifying, it's really putting proper physical pain on my chest. I don't feel like there's nothing else left I can do, but all I'm doing is very long term. There's nothing much I can do about the short term stuff. I want to go and get everything I need, like sailing license, enough experience, a couple of sailings around with the crew, to learn everything I need to know to be able to single-handedly sail across the Atlantic, or maybe with a small crew or whatever, it doesn't matter, but I want to be able to be completely independent and self-sufficient. If any people join me on that trip, it's fine. If they don't, it's also fine. I don't need anybody, but there's always open door. But by the end of this year, I just want to go. I want to go. first towards the west and Caribbean and stuff, and sail around there a little bit, then go through the Pacific, all of that stuff, and eventually, when I'm brave enough, go towards the northern parts and stuff. But I'm not settling on the land anymore. It's just not for me, and not because it's like bad people, bad civilization. It's just I'm not that kind of a character. I like to learn a lot. I like to do a lot. When I went to Africa, the first thing I did was like, where are the poor kids begging for money? I want to change their lives around, and I did. Not giving them the money, but I actually taught them a few things that they could do and make their own money. One of them stopped their mom from prostituting herself because he could pay for the rent and everything. It's just like his dream came true because of me investing 70 pounds in him and his guitar and telling him, make sure you freaking do something good about it now. He told me his dreams, he told me what he really dreams about, and he was extremely talented. So, yeah, sure. If it takes that little to change your life around and help you, dude, then go ahead, by all means. So, I'm pretty sure once I actually go, if I get to survive all this shit, once I go around, there's gonna be a lot of happy kids around there when I meet them. There's never lack resources, lack of resourcefulness. Yes, I agree. But, honestly, mate, when you're beyond the survival mode, it's really this downward spiral and everything that comes with it. This unlucky bad things that are happening like that. It just all goes hand in hand. It's even my therapist was saying like, how many people after the divorce that just brings so much bad, literally like this bad cosmic like spiritual luck. Most of them actually end up going to church and praying because that saves the rest. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not praying, but I'm just not fanatically religious about it. I learned that there is something very spiritual about all of the existence, that's for sure. Experienced a lot of stuff that I can and cannot explain also. But yeah, I'm not a Catholic. I think I would say Christians and Buddhists. If you put those two things together, you get quite close to the whole truth, but not all of the truth, because there's still a lot about the fact that, a very high probability that everything is simulated. So then the religion in itself is just another set of tools and words and systems to explain the truth, but in a way that people who don't see it, in between the lines, they become the slaves to the twisted truth of itself. It's kind of always the thing. The truth seekers often end up the ones most deluded. So people who think they know everything are often the ones that are actually really stupid and the least educated. So you have nowadays a lot of woke people, saying stuff, whether it's climate change, whether it's something else, and you challenge them and you go like, so did you watch that video? Did you like, oh yeah, this was like the Sound of Freedom, which a lot of people were calling a QAnon conspiracy theory. And I'm like, but did you watch the movie? No, I didn't, but I know it's a QAnon conspiracy theory. Excellent fact-checking skills, dude. Very scientific method of doing stuff. So yeah, it's bleh. It's difficult to process yourself in such an environment and process other people like that. So, just a challenge. But being honest and staying honest about things is still the most liberating path at the end of the day. That's where spirituality comes around. You gotta be able to question your own beliefs to come deep, closer to the truth. But I don't think that we're able to really comprehend it in this three-dimensional form of body and mind and soul trapped together. But yeah, there's definitely more than just this. Science, even the more open-minded science is catching up to this. The neuroscience, There's one day, oh, fuck, I said this is gonna be my last video, right? But there's a bunch of really good YouTube channels I found talking about all this stuff, connecting the science and the spiritual together, and it's just really beautiful to see all those things finally becoming one. So they are the people who are transcending the borders of this duality and constant competition and fighting and stuff and warfare. The new kind of humanity that I've seen and felt and been breathing from inside out since I was born. The developed and evolved humanity where, you know, people can actually be competitive, but in a sense where it helps all of us grow together because of the competitiveness. I don't know. It's just strange knowing so much, being able to do so much, but on the other hand, finding myself in the times and the kind of society which values the kind of stuff that I can do and help with the least at the moment. You know, lunatics flying on the moon are more celebrated and worshipped than someone who might have superhuman healing powers, let's say. I'm not talking about Jesus Christ. I'm just saying that there are such amazing stories out there. If people only knew what was possible and what's not possible, and that we're all magical and powerful, that all of us can do that stuff, it would change everything we know over a bloody night. And then I think pretty much every guru who thinks they know the truth, because those people who really know it, they don't speak about it. It makes them dangerous to existence of themselves and establishment and stuff. Even the stuff that I know, it's like crazy, because the moment you start speaking about it, shit starts to happen. Yeah, I didn't make just miscalculated choices, man. Let's say when get talking about the relationship experience, when you basically just know that is what's happening is wrong, or what you're doing is wrong, it is wrong. And then it doesn't matter how many times your ego is gonna go in there and thinking, yeah, but you can fix this, you can do this, you can do it. Nah, forget it, man. Facts are facts. You cannot escape that. And those were not miscalculated choices. Those were more like kind of living in a denial, but not because I was stupid and not being able to see what I see and know what I know, but more like, she will get better. It's just the PMS. It's just like that. She's just tired. It's just the kids. It's just constantly keep giving people an excuse and more and more and more and more excuses for their behavior. So you basically consequently become an enabler of abuse. So that's the same thing I'm saying. The system is not broken. We are the enablers of this from happening. You know, like every Lithuanian is an enabler of being a slave for 924 euros per month. All of us. All of us are doing the same shit. Yeah, I know I can't change the past. I mean, you can change the way it affects you in the here and the now. I've done that before. When it comes to changing tomorrow, you also change tomorrow by doing something here and now, doing it today. And like I said, I'm not lazy. I'm not just sitting on my ass, doing nothing, crying and feeling sorry for myself. I'm really, when I now, and my body and the experts and the doctors and the therapists and everybody says you need to rest. Like, as much as you have to make money and we understand you and blah, 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 if you keep doing this, it's gonna go bad. So I'm in a fucking limbo. I want to work. I want to be productive. I want to make the money. I want to help people. I want to do everything in life. But the moment I get up and start pushing myself around, within 2 to 3 hours, muscles start to burn, bones start to hurt, the mind goes frenzy. It's just impossible. Like the way it is right now, everything like this is, I mean, impossible. I'm blocking myself here, but it's insane. It's just insane. I don't get enough of minerals and vitamins and all of the nutritious stuff I need to recover. I don't get enough sleep. I don't get enough rest. So even just typing a single website and just creating that 1 to 2 pages second chapter of the course for the course I want to sell on my website is already a challenge. It takes a lot of energy to stay focused and concise and professional. So really not, none of that is really as easy as it can be said. I'm well aware of all this, yeah. What it takes to change yourself, what it takes to create a better tomorrow, even on a mental level only. If I didn't know all that, I'd probably blow my brains out long time ago. Because I didn't mean it back then. So yeah, hard to say. It's lots to deal with in a situation like that. And I, like, honestly, like I said, this is not something, even with my own past and experience, like the shit I've been through, and it made me harder and tougher and more resilient. It was still years and years and years of accumulating the effects of allowing too much toxicity around myself that got to me. And when I finally figured that out, it was too late to slam the brakes on and take a break, because I cannot finance my break and nobody else wants to. I mean, no, that I don't think like life owes me a living, but it's just not fair that I've always done everything right, paid my taxes, did everything, be a abiding citizen, be a collaborative and contributing citizen, and still, when time comes to help, and the help should be on the paper, reality turns out super nasty. So yeah, well, it's been already a 3 hours long stream. So what can I say? Crazy that you guys are willing to listen to all this and actually still communicate with me after 3 hours. Kind of getting a little bit tired and exhausted, like I'm literally sweating right now. And it's not hot. It's just the body reacting to everything and trying to not get myself triggered with bringing all the memories back. But yeah, thanks for being here with me. Thanks for watching. I mean, whoever wants to contact me, and not give their personal details away here on YouTube to trolls, drop me a comment and I'll let you know how we can do this. I don't know, man. I mean, as much as I'm amazed by all the reactions and views and stuff, I don't know where my life is going. I have zero control over everything, and I'm giving up on trying like this, the website and building and dreams and stuff. I'm giving up on all that because every time I put myself into gear and I keep doing, and I'm stable and stable and stable. Now it's been so long, I already forgot that anything can happen. And it happens. People don't see that I have human rights. People don't want to do something a little bit extra outside of their own comfort zone and what they are used to fix this. Just this one last legal case. They don't have to fix all of the shit I've been suffering from before. I don't want to sue anybody. I don't want any money. Even though I think I deserve by now the damage that they've done to me, I should deserve probably millions to just go get my own boat, sail around, and not have to do anything for a couple of years. For anyone. That would be the best. That's what I deserve. Hey, Omen, thanks for staying here. And yeah, like, really cool guys, man. Like, you being so young and sharing and taking all this in gives me a lot of hope for the future. So stay cool. Thanks a lot. Loads of love. Thank you. Uh, yeah, I know how much more I can do, but it's like even my head hurts right now just thinking about it. I wish I could. I wish I do. Really. That's why I'm saying I don't want to. Maybe I said last video because I don't want to keep any promises to anyone anymore that I can do it, that I can survive, that I can make it, and that I'm gonna achieve anything out of it. I just don't know. I'm lost. Kind of like, hey, bye bye. And a good night, Omen. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. When you see people like you just want to help. True. Which means I'm pretty certain that, yeah, pretty certain that most of us are going through a lot. Otherwise, we don't stay here listening 3 hours to this kind of stuff. So, yeah. Hey, good night. Thanks again. I'm also gonna get off, but I guess I'm gonna try and do more of this. I don't know. And live and more shorts and more other content. I just cannot promise anything. Life is really fucking ridiculously out of my hands and out of my control right now. And I think even God is looking this like, hey, dude, come on, just can you help me out here? I don't know what to do either, because if there was a God and there was something to be done, damn it! Like, I mean, I've had even signs like Bibles shoved around in the detention. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it, but I cannot become an evangelist. Not forced into it. Not forced. It has to be by choice. And to be honest, it's not. I don't feel called to be an evangelist, or evangelist of a different kind, maybe. My church, the Church of Love. But then, there's so many cults around the world. I don't want to be labeled as one of those as well. So every time I think about something crazy like that, I'm like, nah, just be myself. Don't force anything. We'll see what happens. But I think, yeah, that when I was here attacked by the Polish guy on the boat and he almost threw me overboard, I'm pretty certain that there is no way I was strong enough and capable of actually pulling myself back on the boat on my own the way I was pulled back on my boat. And there was nobody else but me and him there, so I don't know what happened, but some invisible force grabbed the back of my jeans and pulled me back. So, and I'm not easily believing in stuff. I'm certainly not. Like, it's just some of the things that were happening are just like mental. Like, what the hell? Like, why? Not why, but like, kind of strange coincidences and signs and symbols and stuff. And in such a level of trauma and stress, I think many people would have just run off the church thinking immediately it's just God talking to them. But at the end of the day, this is also our own perceptions. It helps though. It helps to pray. It helps to also kind of try to trust that there is a higher force. The moments you really can't sleep, the moments that things go into like very severe emotional states, that's when these things help. But ultimately, even when you read the Bible, what it taught me many years ago already, that it's you who does all the work. Actually, you're the one who heals yourself. You're the one who does all the things. God lives within all men, not men, but the mankind. It's Charlie Chaplin who said this in his dictator speech. If you want to look it up, it's like one song is the 100 subs. It's a song. It's a great, one of the best speeches ever, and I made a song out of it. The forces of good and evil, the forces of divine and the really dark, it's all within us, really. everything is like us. So, but it's like in a sense of it's not just us. It's us and the universe and the creation and the creator, basically, kind of like that. It's not separated. It's all one together. So that's how I feel about this. So, you know, I just could never really go word for word, and I'm like, yeah, I have to pray exactly this prayer. I have to say exactly those words. No, it's all about actually just feeling it, really. Like you being the creator of your reality and your destiny, you have to feel it all real. And also, I guess it's not gonna be the last stream, I guess. I can't promise what's gonna happen and where things are gonna go. If something happens to me tonight, I'm not gonna try and fight for my life. That's what I can say. And I don't count on police or anyone coming to save my ass either. So if it's meant for me to die, I'm gonna fucking die. That's all. Just not. I'm not threatening to take my own life away. So I will do what I can. If it's a short video, couple of shorts a day. If it's a stream, it's gonna be a stream. You know, more streams. Yeah, I will do my best. Just daily streams would be a bit difficult. Sometimes there's so much in one day. Sometimes there's really so much in one day that it's just hard to believe that a day has only 24 hours. But yeah, what can I say? Um, Definitely a very different feeling that I'm actually streaming and responding two ways with people, because I honestly never did this for the likes and the views. I don't care about that. It's knowing that someone else is there really resonating with all this, and it's not about seeking sympathy and empathy for myself, but like really all the messages I want to share and leave behind. Because if there's nothing better I can do with this world, I want to leave that little bit of legacy of what I am, what I believe, what I think all of us can do better. And if that helps and that changes anything, then that's it. My mission is accomplished. That's what I always wanted. Well, yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that really. Um, I really appreciate that for saying this one. I'm gonna try and soak it in. It's not some kind of a feeling I was used to and expected. So fine. You have my word. I'll do my best to keep this up. I promise it to you. um, because yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, it's about a relationship with the audience, right? And I did I did imagine myself talking like this to actually the younger generations like yourself, 16-year-olds, younger, because kids, as a child, I was really not heard, not understood, and that sucked. And then I became a children's rights activist in Slovenia, not by choice, like national TV, Slovenian president stuff, changing the laws around, saving probably millions of lives of homeless people in the past without even knowing I did, until I realized I did. Um, like, it was my dream, just being able to help one person and let them know that they're not alone and that they're understood. And regardless what your parents tell you, and regardless of the brainwashing you get in the school, you are as unique, as connected with the rest of us as everyone else. And you are really, you need to be aware of your ability to really change things around regardless of what others tell you. You gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta believe that really anything is possible, because it is. I achieved stuff I never imagined I could, like traveling to Africa and all that stuff. It was just insane. So yeah. But right now my battery is very low also. time is also quite late-ish, and I think, yeah, I think we're all gonna have to get some sleep. Yeah, so to basically introduce some of you guys, Resurgence, I know who that guy is. We used to work together in Lithuania. He's a really good guy. He also helped me quite a bit. Like recent electrical bills were paid because of you. Thank you so much. And yeah, no stress, not to you, but yeah, it helps fuckloads because if I didn't pay that bill, everything's automated. They would just switch it off, and then the best thing I could do is try to bypass it with another fake account. But you know, sooner or later they would figure out how to stop that from happening. Because it's not that I'm stealing money or don't pay the bills to anyone. I always pay. But if you miss it for 1 second and the direct debit fails, they ban you immediately. So yeah, it's kind of shit. So guys, to kind of talk a little bit about you guys as well. Tuan and Omen, really, you guys changed my feeling today significantly. Being here and sticking around, especially you, Tuan, being so you know, active on my channel before this stream. It's just, it brings that light into the darkness that I need, because usually I'm the light in the dark, but now it's the other way around, and really thank you so much for that. So yeah, stick around. You know, also feel free to talk to each other. It's all free and good. I mean, you can feel safe. And yeah, just subscribe, click that notification bullshit button so you don't miss when I'm actually doing something, but I'm gonna try and always have it scheduled at least one day in advance, or at least a few hours, so you can kind of try and catch it up. And yeah, if you do miss a live stream or something, you know, watch a replay, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Feel free to criticize me, because whenever I get constructive criticism, I love it, because it helps me grow. If this channel, it can grow to something more meaningful, educative, and more focused, you know, or I have to make more channels, whatever it is, you know, like, I'm happy to listen to the input and build on this if it's gonna help more people. But yeah, for now I really have to also go. Thanks all of you watching. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for making my day really feeling great. Although, I don't know, tomorrow is another day, another challenge, but I'll do my best to keep going at it day after day, day by day. That's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. Really taking it, waking up happy that I'm awake, that I can wake up, that there's another day, I'm still alive. Really appreciative of all that. And yeah, I'm just really glad that even in these darkest moments, I'm getting this kind of support. So awesome. Love you guys. Really great bunch. Thanks for everything. And I'll stay in touch. If you want to meet me and stuff, just drop a comment. No problem. Anytime. See ya and good night.